Don't stop talking.
Don't stop talking.
So
what I said is my greatest weakness has often been my greatest strength. And I was totally ADD, and I can't keep things organized or such a mind clutter. And yet, professionally, I compensate by making big lists and keeping things organized, and that's actually what I excel at and what I'm very good at. That's, in a lot of ways, my superpower.
Something you thought was a weakness, but it really was your biggest strength.
Yes, the villain made me better.
Oh,
I like what I did there.
There you go.
Because we're talking villains.
List man.
That's what we're doing. Hit the fucking music, Bill.
Welcome to the Comix.
What the fuck is going on, nerds? It's the motherfucking Comic Zone. That's DJ motherfucking Nyke over
You
there.
hear me?
There's fucking Arron,
What up,
motherfucking
everybody?
Loman, and that's Bill.
Bill.
I'm just
Motherfucking Schwamler.
Wild Bill.
motherfucking Schwambalag.
Billy the Kid.
Yes, sir.
Science
Talking-
rules.
Spill.
We're talking our
Punk
favorite comic
Professor.
book villains today. Punk professors.
That was the coolest nickname that somebody gave me that never stuck.
Oh.
The Punk Professor.
I like it.
I even
You
tried
could
doing
still-
like a YouTube, like,
You could still make it happen.
Oh, no, I was about to, with nicknames that didn't stick, I tried my hardest to change mine to DJ Butterfingers. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad you didn't.
yeah, but it sounds whack now, but you got to think in the 90s.
That would've been dope.
Yeah, because
That is a dope name for a DJ, though.
instead of Butterfingers, it was Fingers,
I'm
G-A-Z.
DJ Butterfingers.
But there was an actual a hip hop term, you know what I'm saying, that was like, it's butter baby, you know what I mean, and it meant it was dope. So Butterfingers.
Fucking hoodie is the shit. By the way.
Thank you. By the way, well, you can't see us because we're still working on the video shit, but it is October, so it's breast cancer awareness month. My mother is a survivor, so I wear pink the entire month long, every single day. And thank you. This hoodie is dope.
It is.
My
Fresh.
aunt passed.
I
in
love that.
85.
The rose on it.
Yeah.
That shit's fresh.
It's crazy too. Like I've been talking to people, and we're 3 days in so far. And I was talking to somebody at the Tata Trot on Saturday, and they asked me about my tattoo. I was like, oh, well, when I was like right before my 6th birthday, they told me my mom had 9 months to live, 1 year maximum, and that was fucking 40
So
years
he got
ago.
a tattoo on his 6th birthday.
Well, and
Yeah. but my mom is a walking miracle. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
They said she had a year at most, and that was 41 years ago, and she's still kicking. So
the
Well, that's
villain didn't
awesome.
have anything on her.
not at all. Breast cancer ain't got shit on my mom.
Yeah, the
Well,
biggest
yeah.
fucking villain out there, fucking cancer.
Oh yeah.
cancer's the
Yes.
My aunt just died from cancer. May she rest in peace.
Yeah. It took my dad too. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's all fucked up, man. Like, so many people been dropping like flies like around me, like closer than I would. Closer than too close for comfort is what I was trying to say.
There you go.
It's just like, that shit always makes you uncomfortable, man. Like, especially not just my aunt, but like, there's other people that my sister knows that have all, like a bunch
Yeah.
of people she knows has died recently, and it's just, fuck that. It sends a fucking chill up your spine. You're like, just like opens your eyes a little bit. You almost forget
To
sometimes.
your mortality.
Yeah,
You
I
know
was
what I'm
just
saying?
gonna say
The
that.
more people
Yeah.
that around your age start, dying, whether it's from natural causes, disease, car wrecks, drugs, just any, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you start seeing it around you start wondering, because when you're younger, you're like, man, I can jump off a building and it might break my leg, but I'm all right. You don't think
Yeah.
you're going to die. And then when you start getting older and you start seeing people your age and younger, it's like, shit, you know what I mean? Like there've been certain times where that shit, like me and David that hangs out with us, watches movies, you know what I'm saying, goes to all the
right,
Marvel
yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Like we were talking about, like there's certain times, it doesn't happen often because I'm a very upbeat, happy person, but there are times where that shit's kept me up at night. Like, fuck, man, what if I don't wake up in the morning?
I remember
You know what I mean?
the first time, like, mortality and just like the fact that I was gonna die someday hit me, and I was like 13, 14. I was like, it was in bed.
Right.
I used to listen to the radio a lot when I would go to sleep when I
Right.
was a teenager. And who the fuck sings that? Like Bon Jovi or some shit. The dumbest song ever. And it's like,
I like
I
all
ain't
of
gonna
John's
live
songs.
forever.
Oh, yeah.
And that just like for whatever reason, latched onto my fucking brain. And I was like, holy shit, I'm going to fucking die someday. And, like, that really wrecked me as, like, a young kid.
Punk, right?
Like, just becoming a man and shit.
Right.
And you're like, oh, fuck. Like, it's like when you gain consciousness when you're a little kid and then you start, like, creating memories and you're like, holy, like,
that's when I first remembered death, is when I consciously realized that I am alive and that I will die.
That's crazy, isn't it?
The two were connected, one the next in the next.
Yeah.
And it was the acknowledgement of, oh, I'm alive. This is life. I am now.
Yeah, I'm like conscious.
And this will not last forever.
Well, for me, it was sitting in science class and them explaining that the moment we're born, we start dying right there.
Yeah.
Everything, it's a slow process, but
Yeah, you're
If
born.
you're lucky.
yeah.
We're all born to die, though. That unfortunately, but it
But
just-
on the flip side of that coin, think about it though. Have you ever had them weird thoughts? Like, what happens if I wouldn't honestly want to live forever. I don't know how long is the, you know what I mean? That point.
What's
but-
forever?
it would
though.
depend on the situation. Like, so if I was the only immortal person, then fuck that. But like, if the people I love were living, but I don't know. Maybe
I also
not.
don't want to. Here's the other thing too. Like, is like a Highlander. Like, you get to a certain point and you stop aging. You know what I mean? Because like, if I make it to 80, or even let's say hypothetically, I make it to like 100, but I'm a 100-year-old man. You know what I mean? I need to walk with a walker.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to wear a diaper and shit like that.
I wouldn't
Fuck
want to do that for eternity.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I'd be okay being this age
Yeah,
currently.
yo, I'm almost 50, and I'm great.
Damn.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying. But I wouldn't want to be too much older than where I am right now and living forever. Like, this is I see now why whenever they had immortals in movies and comic books, they normally stop aging
Yeah,
at like
it's usually
30.
a tragic story.
Yeah.
It's usually, I mean, they're always seeing their loved ones die.
Berserk,
It's like in Berserk.
Highlander. Yeah,
It's like in Berserker where he's like, I've loved so many times I can't even remember all their names.
Well,
Because
they use that same line in Highlander too. when
yep.
right.
Wolvie, you know what I mean? Logan.
Oh yeah. I'm
Sa-
sure it's the
Victor
same.
Creed.
There's
He's
a
a
cool
lot younger. He's a lot younger though, Wolverine.
Well, yeah, we're talking. I mean,
But
He's
still-
about 250 years
Yeah,
old, so
But still, yeah, he's probably loved and lost
a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, not probably. He has.
Look
so
how many
check out this.
illegitimate.
I got this cool quote. So from Neil Gaiman and The Sandman, one of my favorite books. Death is a character. There's a picture of a very attractive looking kind of goth woman.
She'd
But
get it.
anyways, one of her
understand
lines.
Them thighs,
One of her
boy.
lines about being immortal is this: when the first living things existed, I was there waiting. When the last living thing dies, my job will be finished. I'll put the chairs on the table, turn out the lights, and lock the universe behind me when I leave.
that's dope.
And she'll
That's
just,
kind of awesome.
I mean,
that means she'll just like move on to the next thing almost.
but the cool thing about this character in particular, and like I've said it before, when Neil Gaiman came up with the idea, it was like, what would I want the Grim Reaper to actually look like if it was actually inviting
Right.
and not something that I was afraid
Yeah.
of? And that's what he imagined.
Like, look at them thighs and hips. I'd let her
Oh
take
yeah,
me.
hell yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm going.
She can smash my head like a fucking watermelon, dude.
Shit, so can Hera and Sabine. I mean,
Oh yeah, Sabine is fine as hell on that damn show.
Ahsoka's on my list too.
Yo, come on, man.
God, yeah. It's
Oh, yeah.
Rosario Dawson. I've been in love with
Yeah.
her for years.
She's like Dominican and Puerto Rican, and she can definitely get it.
Cuban B.
Yeah,
Every episode.
I know, man, for
Gotta
real.
get it in there.
All right, yo. So we are talking villains and
So our top
Marvel villains, right?
and I
Right.
think
Is it just Marvel villains? Because I went all across the board.
we'll
No,
let
not
you.
just comic book villains. 'cause
Well,
I
yeah.
got a couple that aren't Marvel.
Well, yeah, I mean,
We don't-
some of mine are, outside of Marvel, but most of them are comic book or in that realm.
So to go first, we're gonna roll this giant D20.
All right.
Comic
Dun,
Con. So the highest roll gets to go first.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pass it to Mike here.
I've been
Pass the
rolling
ditches to
fucking
the left,
hot
one
tonight,
side.
dude. I'm probably gonna roll a 20 right now.
Now, for bragging, you're not.
All right, he rolls
7.
7. All right. Sean's at the table. Throws it down.
Oh, Jesus, he rolled it across.
We got a 3.
Three. Mike's still in the lead with a 7. All right, Aaron.
This is for all the
Rolling it.
For the what? Oh,
commissary.
he got a 1.
A 1. Oh,
I'm not winning.
all right.
This is
There goes my top
I'm
ramen.
the last one.
16. Fuck
Oh.
yeah.
And
Right.
Bill goes,
House-
looks like we're
house
going
wins.
clockwise.
Yeah, like, let's just do it in that order.
So I wanted to go deep with the villains because
always
I think
do
there's
that.
a lot of
No, I
easy
meant,
ones that are worthwhile. And we did
deep.
a villains episode before, and Magneto was one of my picks.
Yes,
Right.
So
he's
by-
on my list as well.
I couldn't pick him as one of the top because of that reason.
It's an honorable mention then.
I believe so. As far as villains go, he's definitely up there, especially in the X-Men League. But I wanted to zoom in on a newer character that probably not a lot of people have heard of.
Okay.
And this was in Spider-Man, one of the Beyond Corp storyline. And I also want to hype it up because I have the first appearance of this comic. So any hype I generate will also increase the value of my collection.
Right.
Yes.
So
Brilliant.
Queen Goblin.
Oh,
So she's actually a clone of now I'm forgetting the name. But what was cool about her is, I mean, she was a goblin, but her power was like a psychic. She would put thoughts into your head. She would like
Okay.
make you think you were whatever. You were crap. You were a good guy. You
The
were
ultimate gaslighter.
and kind of take things over.
She'd be like,
I mean,
"You shit your pants," and you're like, "Oh."
but
yeah.
actually, that's what I mean. What happened with Spider-Man, and we also had Ben Reilly, and then we also had Peter Parker going in. So Peter Parker was being Spider-Man through Beyond Corp and was, actually, there's a lot of complicated stuff with the Beyond Corp I don't want to get into, but she made Spider-Man think that he was worthless, and he was falling and thinking, "Oh, you're nothing. You're nothing but a clone. You're worthless." And he's falling and he's hitting the water, crashing through the water, drowning as these psychic visions, attacks keep getting worse and worse and worse until he kind of hits the bottom and realizes that it's all in his head. And then he kind of is able to kind
fucking
of
told me about this.
rebound. It was one of the awesome
Yeah, that was one of
Spider-Man
those moments where
he
you were-
rebounded out and then he was alive. He was on top of it, and the psychic attack ended, and he was able to kind of triumph over that.
It's like a classic Spider-Man overcoming, you know what I mean? Because he's always fought not just his villains, but his inner demons.
Facts.
And so those were always those big moments in those Spider-Man. Like the one where the building's like crushing him.
Yeah.
And he's like holding it up and like he's in that moment where he wants to give up.
Or
But then he
even in the movies when he's holding the two trains,
Right.
or tragically Gwen Stacy, in the loss of Gwen Stacy.
You think that's why we love Spider-Man so much is because he is like a legit like sacrifice himself type of hero.
Well, not just
Absolutely.
that. Spider-Man relates to
Ashley
most of us
Kafka.
more
Kafka.
than any other superhero out there because a lot of us did grow up in the late 70s, all through the 80s and everything. And seeing what Peter went through kind of resonated with a lot of us. And then all of a sudden, he's just on a science experiment. Spider drops out of nowhere and bites him. And, oh, hey, look, I've got great power now. What can I do with it? And, yeah, he went through a lot of tragedy. And he had a lot of villains that came after him as well.
And most of them had tragic stories. So.
Right. Well, anyway.
So back to Queen Goblin was Ashley Kafka. And she was a psychologist at, I keep wanting to say Ravencroft.
So when you say goblin, do you mean like the Green Goblin?
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, she's
Okay. So she's a clone of the original
of Kafka, but she's got the Goblin serum
Okay.
and other kind of because without getting into 12 other characters and other plot lines, it's
Right.
because it was a pretty big crossover, and I think that as far as the recent in the past, 3 years, the Beyond Corp was a pretty good story run. I would recommend it as a graphic novel.
So this is
pickup.
a more recent villain.
like a digital, yeah,
That's interesting that you pick some
and that's why because
a villain that's more recent, more new.
And I think it has a lot of potential. That kind of and that sonic psychic attacks, as far as a writing tool, could be an epic challenge.
Well,
for
imagine
a hero.
fight where you have to.
It's like fighting Charles.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be mentally strong. Like, how do you fight that fight? You know what I mean? Where somebody has overwhelming power enough so to make you think thoughts that you're not thinking.
That's when willpower takes over. You got to have the will to fight this.
That would be a hell of a fight, and that's
What
an
if
interesting.
it's somebody that's a person of trust too?
That's an interesting way to approach a Spider-Man story because first thing you think is throwing punches and slinging webs.
Yeah.
When this fight sounds like it was more internal.
Yeah.
Makes you really looking to see who you are as a character.
Whoever wrote that really understood Spider-Man, I think.
He had to have pulled from a lot of other classic Spider-Man
Yeah.
stories too.
It does remind me of a lot of the more classic stories, like I was saying when he was being crushed by the building and had that same kind of moment where he's like, maybe I should give up or whatever he says, and then he comes out of it stronger at the end. And that shit's inspirational as hell.
It's also like when he meets Madam Web and he's trying to figure out what's going on there.
We talked about that before too.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm next.
Yep. Who's your?
So I think who I'm going to go with first. Actually, my beautiful lady Vanessa told me that she wanted me to mention Jim Carrey as the Riddler in the movie Batman Forever. She thought that was the best, and then also just Bane in general. Like what a badass villain he is, the man that broke the bat.
I mean, he is a beast as long as he's got that venom.
I think there was a storyline where he didn't have it, right?
Well, and yeah, there's
probably a few.
There's
Yeah,
been a
quite
few
a
of them,
few.
but even without it, he's a guerrilla warfare fighter. He's
He's a genius.
Yeah.
A tactical genius. He really is a bad motherfucker, even without the venom.
Yeah, they had him on fight level, like without the venom, with bats.
Yeah. He could still fight, like in
Toe to toe, yeah.
Yeah.
well, he
Yeah,
also
man.
trained from the greatest ninja assassins ever as well.
Do you think he would have lost in Nightfall if he hadn't broke everyone out of Arkham and wore Batman out first?
That's a crazy what if. Like, I've been hearing that since the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
just curious what you think.
I don't know, man. That's a hard one. That, you know what I'm
Because
saying?
clearly he knew he had to do more than just like face him up front. He had to wear him down and like get him in a weak place. Maybe that's just a tactical decision. That doesn't mean he couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
He needed
but that's
he
an
needed
easy-
his picadors at the Matador.
Yeah, but why
ring.
kick your own ass when you can just kick his? You know what I mean? Like, and so yeah, maybe he probably could still beat him.
I think so. But yeah, I think that was genius. You
It's
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it is
Yeah.
genius. Like weaken him and then take
That-
him out.
like in a bullfight, they have before the bullfighter
Right, they're
kills
stabbing him with the sabers and
the
shit.
picadors.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, the
shit's
lances they
fucked
tie her up and they weaken it.
that shit is so fucked up.
It's no different than a samurai working his way up the hill to take on the shogun at the top.
Good analogy.
And that's how he fucking stays at the top because everybody that fights him is weak as fuck by the time they get there.
Exactly. That gauntlet's tough.
Hell yeah. All right, so my main pick, I'm going to go with the Violator from Spawn.
Spawn.
He's a good
He was
character.
always, and even in the movie, that we all love that movie, I'm sure.
John
John
Leguizamo.
Leguizamo.
And he fucking killed it in that part. did he
Yes,
not?
he did. He was the best violator I've ever seen.
But not only that, but in the comics, like he's just such a interesting wild card of a character. He's not what you would picture as like a general of hell. Like you would picture him being very stoic and serious and brutal, but he is brutal, but
Highly.
but-
Sadistic.
So I think that's why I pick him, and I've always like really liked him as a character. He's like Joker-ish. I would kind of. He is
Because of the clown in his human
just
form.
in his personality though.
Yeah.
Because he's always cracking a joke. He's almost like a Deadpool-ish kind of character.
He's the comic relief villain.
Right.
Until shit gets serious.
But then,
Yeah, then
he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like he, Spawn really struggles with him initially.
Well, it's also the juxtaposition of the humor and the horror together that makes the horror
he
that
is-
much more horrific.
yeah, he is such a fucking psycho that
Yeah.
like he's cracking jokes while he's murdering people.
It's like Silence of the Lambs when Buffalo Bill's dancing all weird above him.
yeah,
Power trip.
yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's why I kind of like him. It's just the chaos that he represents. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, he's also born of pure evil. He's,
Right, he was born in hell. He was never human.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which gives him supernatural abilities as is.
which, by the way, Spawn has been running for damn near 400 issues now.
Or they are. Wow.
Yeah, it's never stopped since the 1994,
the story is
93.
Yeah, 93, 94.
And they're still keeping their comics relatively cheap.
Yeah.
And
Which is
their
nice.
storylines have
Yeah.
been good, too.
But I think Todd is the kind of guy who understands the business of this more than most.
Oh, fuck yeah. He invented it in
as
many
a
ways.
writer. In many ways, the way they set the precedent.
Yeah, he was definitely
Especially
one of the
for
founders.
Independence, and now
Image, yeah, he was one of the
They remapped the way the comic books were done in
and
the
they
90s.
I'm so glad.
Like they
Yeah.
they completely just like cleared the slate, and they were like,
Well, and they gave the
This is
artists
how we're
more
doing it now.
freedom in it as well.
Yeah.
They were all artists. That's
Well,
you know what I mean.
exactly, yeah.
well, and that's how that kind of shit has to happen, though.
Well, and
It's like you can't fight for something that you haven't like been through. I don't think.
Facts.
That's why people in the hood don't respect some white politician that comes in and says, "I understand your pain."
No, you don't.
You want you want something like Luke Cage, like a hometown hero, somebody
Yeah.
that you know has been in the trenches with you, and they really understand what you're going through, and that's what they like, being writers and going through the fucked up shit they did, and like the zero fucking credit, getting baby ass paychecks, and not having the freedom that they wanted to have too.
Yeah,
They told Todd,
Marvel and DC.
it's like when he was doing Spider-Man, he wanted to start breaking the panel. I want his hand to like reach out of the panel. I want
and I love
the
that.
web to shoot out of there, and they wouldn't let him do that kind of shit. too
well, that's
much.
because as they were up and coming with their books and everything, you couldn't really go outside the panels like that because
right
they,
because they were like, no, that's not how it's done,
well, yeah,
and
but
you're like, who the fuck said it how it's done? Like
because
this is
most
art.
comics
But
started,
that's what happens when you
This is
have
art.
those when you have to answers with anything else. You know what I mean? Like remember, like look at the change even like with music to what you can say. I remember when all you could say on the radio was "damn" and "hell," and on TV. And I remember the first time I heard him say "dick," I was like, "Whoa!"
What about half the stuff that Nicki Minaj says?
Oh yeah,
God.
you know
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow.
Or not even that. Even the non-censored stuff.
Yeah.
It's all very
Sexual.
It's
Well,
porno.
Yeah, it's shit that would have been censored when we were kids.
Well,
But if in a level, because I mean, when you think about it, what's the most famous butt song of all time?
Oh,
Baby's Got Back.
Yeah,
Baby Got Back, Sir Mix-a-Lot. That was, you know what I mean?
that was very risque for that.
Oh
that
yeah,
time.
at the time they were like, "Oh Jesus!"
Well, the video
you know?
made it that way.
Yeah.
as he's
yeah.
dancing on two
he's-
giant cheeks.
But but I mean, but just think about like even like that was a step
How
above.
sick is that, dude?
Things
dancing
it
on a
always
giant
goes
jump.
up and above. You know what I mean?
Well,
and I think that's a good thing too, because when we start thinking about segregation's the wrong word. Help me, Bill.
Prejudice.
No, censorship.
Censorship.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Like, I kind of like that we're getting away. Like, I think parents should be guarding what their kids are doing a little bit more than what they're doing. And I know that's hard because the internet is everywhere, especially with you having your phones. But I think the lack of censorship we have on everything is better for the entire process of creating, whether it's movies, TV, music, art.
I
comics.
agree. It does make it harder though when you're a parent.
It does, but that's your
like,
job
it's-
as a fucking parent.
No,
Exactly.
I get that. I'm just saying, like, it's not the world's job to make sure your kids don't see shit.
Thank you.
I could understand to a point. I'm not a parent. I've never been a parent, but like I could understand the want for like some kind of pornographic filter from your kids,
Thank
not
fucking
being
God my kids aren't.
bombarded with that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Well, mine are at an impressionable age right now that they see everything and they just filter it in. And I mean, I'm working on it, but like you said, the internet's everywhere. And their favorite thing to do is watch YouTube shorts and things like
Well,
that.
and they're fucking sponges, man.
Oh, they are.
Like they pick up every goddamn thing. Luckily, my kids are fucking, especially my youngest son. Like he really, I mean, I could not pay that little boy to cuss. I'd be like, say fuck. Right.
Oh,
now.
yeah,
I'll give you $100.
See, my kids, they hear me
He would
using
be
it.
like, nope,
Good
not-
kid.
I'm just a
Fudge.
kid. I'm just a kid. I can't talk like that. Fucking thank you, buddy.
But but like it's
You
my
make this really easy.
I knew those things. You know what I mean? Like I remember, growing up in a Christian household, a very strict Christian household, there were certain things that I couldn't do and couldn't watch. But I do remember I was allowed to watch things like Scarface as long as I didn't go to school repeating what I saw. I was allowed to watch Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying? As long as I didn't go to school telling the jokes.
Eddie's
Delirious. Yeah. You know what I mean? I saw that shit at age 7. Yeah. Delirious.
One of the greatest stand-up routines ever. But, I mean, yeah, it hasn't aged well.
Oh, his take on
I think I'd take away from that. It's just
No, I mean,
It's not politically correct.
it's not politically correct, but
he
it is aged excellently.
Oh, yes,
it's
I
still
still love
funny.
it.
He says faggot like fucking 38 times on that motherfucker.
Dave Chappelle still
But
says
I get
it.
it. I get it. I'm
I don't
just
want
saying
like
in
my
the
girls
current-
going into those gay houses. They get the AIDS all over my lips.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what he's. Yeah.
What he's talking about, pussy falling out of his pockets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Throwing it at him like frisbees. He's like,
Hey, you're stepping on my pussy.
Well, look
That's
at
my
his
pussy.
don't
honeymooners.
step on
Yeah.
that. That's mine.
That's my pussy.
and don't forget his take on the honeymooners.
Yep. Yeah. With
I know
the
that
being
you
gay.
know that you know
Yeah.
that I know.
That I know.
You know.
Yeah, you want to fuck me.
Me, fuck me in the ass.
And I'm gonna
You
bend
want to
over.
fuck me.
Hamina.
You want to fuck me, Norton. You want to fuck me.
I'm gonna bend over now, and what I do? Start fucking.
This is classic, timeless.
Yeah,
Bro,
I mean, it
the
might
gay
not.
Mr. T.
He said Mr. T wanted to fuck him up after that in Raw. You know what I mean?
Said,
I mean,
slow down. You're gonna fuck around and come too fast.
I have to clench my butt cheeks and rip your dick off.
Break your dick off.
All right, no fighting. No fighting.
All
All right, so that was yours?
Yes, your turn.
All right. Mine you actually mentioned, and I'm going to say
I did?
this. Yeah,
I did.
and I bet you didn't even realize it. It's Deadpool. And
He's on my
the
list,
reason that I'm saying Deadpool is because he started off as a villain. I think the best interpretation of Deadpool was as a villain. You know what I mean?
Rob Liefeld's original.
Exactly.
Yes, I do.
And the entire reason that I am a comic book collector to this day is because of X-Force number 11 that had him kicking the shit out of Shatterstar and Domino, which come to find out wasn't Domino, it was his girlfriend Vanessa.
Yes.
But
Vanessa.
God, she's so hot.
Yeah.
but
Making me look bad in front of Vanessa.
yeah. But first of all, he was hardcore. Like he was the merc with the mouth. Yeah, he still cracked jokes, but he was a lot more serious. Like as much as I'm glad that my favorite character is now this billion-dollar enterprise now, and I'm glad for
He's not the same character.
yeah, it's definitely not the same character.
Ryan
You know
was
what I mean?
Definitely grown.
For one, and I understand for TV, like for the movies and shit, they've had to tone down, and we've discussed this too. They've had to tone down a lot of their powers because sometimes, you can't have somebody bench pressing the tank and always making it look realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Deadpool's official powers in the 90s was he was on strength par with Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
His fighting prowess, they're probably as far as
And by the way, Spider-Man is fucking strong.
Oh,
Like
a bus.
super
A
strong,
bus
yeah.
is
he's
10
one of
tons.
he's one of the stronger motherfuckers.
He's according to the
He
Marvel
can lift
ranking,
more than a bus.
10 tons is his max. That's a lot.
That's
though.
a lot.
That's
What
a
the
lot.
fuck?
10 tons is a lot.
How many characters can lift 10 tons?
A lot. But
A
we're
lot.
but we're talking that starts going into, like, I know the levels. You know what I mean? I was a nerd with that shit. I had all the cards.
Oh, yeah.
These books memorized. So
Oh,
so 10 tons is a level 4. Then you've got like your Colossuses that are like 40 tons. That's a level
Yeah,
5.
yeah, I remember.
And then you got Juggernauts
Bro.
and then Hulk and then your cosmic characters. So it goes. There's a lot of people in the Marvel universe in comic book period.
No, I meant
that can do
like-
more than that. But that's still a lot for a regular mutant character.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? To be
Like,
able to bench press.
my whole point was that Spider-Man's strong as fuck. Anyway,
But
continue.
yeah, so he can bench press 10 fucking tons. That's a lot. You know what I mean? His healing factor, which is an artificial version of Wolverine's. And the fact that the real reason he was cracking all those jokes was because he was basically insane. We were talking about cancer earlier. He was he was like a Vietnam vet, war vet.
special teams, I believe.
Yeah. And he ended up with
We're
cancer.
talking the original.
The original Deadpool,
Okay.
90s, when he was still a bad guy. And in order to beat cancer, he went to, what's that shit called? The Canadian, the team that did Weapon X.
Weapon X.
Alpha.
Department H.
The Department, Department H.
Well, didn't they do Alpha Flight as well? Weren't they?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alpha Flight was their like Avengers.
Yeah, it was their good guys'
Yep.
side.
I thought they were Canucks.
Because I want to say, wasn't
Well, yeah, they
Wolverine
wore
part of
fucking.
Deadpool's unit?
Their whole
Weapon X?
costume was Canadian flag.
Yeah.
What the puck?
Yeah,
Puck was one of the yeah.
He was my favorite, dude.
Yeah, well, he was Wolverine's best friend.
Yeah,
He was dope.
but so he got an art because he's not even a mutant. That's what they changed for the movies, and that's easier to explain.
Yeah, just make it fit in.
Yeah, but he had an artificial version of Wolverine's healing factor, which did keep him from dying but it fucked up his brain because he's in constant pain because his body's constantly healing. You know what I mean?
And he feels every
single thing. So
It drove him crazy.
Yeah, it drove him nuts. You know what I mean? So he's going around. So that's why he always
And he can't kill himself.
Well, he could. They've kind of. That's one of those things that let her down in the line. You know what I mean? With
Like
him not being
Wolverine.
able to. Yeah, he can die, but it's very difficult to do. Even Wolverine has said before he could die too. The easiest way would be to drown. He was like, it would take a long time, but I could
Eventually,
drown.
he would drown. Yeah.
Yeah, you just sink him to the bottom of the ocean.
And you run. Yeah,
where he's got no chance of swimming up.
And I don't remember exactly how they did it, but in the graphic novel Wolverine Goes to Hell, they actually killed him and sent him to hell so he could fight off all of his legitimate children.
I remember that.
And the hand took over his body and possessed his body, and he went on a killing spree.
I think I have the
like berserker mode.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I
that
ended
sounds
up
fucking badass.
It is, and because he had a bunch of he had that daughter.
Yeah,
that we didn't know he had because we knew about Dakin. Like he's got a bunch of children and
he's got like 25, 30 illegitimate children that are in hell.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
He has been alive a long time.
250 years. I'll do that to you. But again, Deadpool was such a hardcore character. You know what I mean? As a bad guy, and I see he was very popular in the 90s. I see why, they made him the anti-hero. Same thing happened with Venom.
Will you grab Arron one too, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
But he, like I said, he was so badass. And then I remember, other than Cable and Wolverine, there weren't too many.
What about Maverick?
Maverick was already dead by the time Deadpool came. By the time he came Deadpool, Maverick was already dead.
Right.
Was he?
Or depowered.
Oh, depowered. Okay, yeah.
My bad. He wasn't dead. He was depowered.
What'd you think of Maverick?
I love him. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, Maverick's actually a very interesting character.
Yeah.
And he looks fucking cool.
Fuck yeah, I love that.
That mask.
I'll try the Melvin for now.
And his powers are it's funny you mentioned that because that's going to bring me to one of my other ones later, so don't let me forget. But
okay,
Deadpool's number one, my favorite villain, and he always will be next to Dr. Doom. But Bill and I were talking earlier. Doom,
I'm not even going to bring up.
Doom and Magneto. I don't think need to be brought up because those.
I thought the same thing about Apocalypse. That's why I'm not going to add him to the list. I was going to honorable mention because he's my faves.
Yeah,
but I've talked about him enough, so we're not going there. Arron,
so Deadpool's mine. He will always be mine. And thank you to Rob Liefeld for creating him. And even though I thought he was an evil Spider-Man for the first issue I saw.
Well, I think it's important you mention him as a villain versus the anti-hero, too.
Yeah.
As that nomination.
Right.
Well, for most of us, he was introduced as a villain.
For a good 3 years. Yeah, he was. He was.
I didn't know about him until the movie.
No, I'm saying for most of us. He said most of us. Most people are going to know only the version from the movies.
I'd say anybody that's younger than fucking 40.
My question.
I didn't. I'm in that camp, but I didn't read it.
I've been trying to ask this. Does he not have that kind of strength anymore?
No. And
so kind of run down his current power set.
He still has the healing factor. He's still one of the greatest fighters in the Marvel universe. But they toned down a lot of people's strength. Like even Luke Cage's, just to make it more realistic for the screen. You can still tell he has some levels of super strength because like when he jumped out of the windows and did the landing and he was like hero landing, and he was like, that is so stupid.
Yeah, that's
so
not normal.
Yeah, you can't jump out of a fucking 4-story building.
And it's not just his healing. He didn't like break his legs doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like definitely stronger than a normal person.
Yeah.
But like, is he like Captain America strong?
I think that like about the strongest 10 men.
Okay.
That's
I'm going to put him on par with Wolverine right now currently. With it because I mean he's got to be with the fight coming up in the movie, hopefully.
Yeah, but as far as strength though, they've always said that Wolvie probably would have super strength because like Sabretooth does. But that him walking around with the adamantium skeleton is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
carrying 400 pounds of metal at all times. So
you got to be tough to do that.
So then when he shedded the adamantium, he should have got stronger, right?
And faster.
They did. They highly spoke about it after Fatal Attractions.
Okay.
Yeah, he got super fast, and I kind of dig Wolverine with the bone claws.
Me
I
too.
did too.
I like that one the best.
Well, not to mention, before that time, let's put that out there. Before Fatal Attractions, we all thought, he even thought, you know what I mean, that his claws were strictly adamantium. Like, nobody thought that was part of his mutant power. He never said that.
It makes sense.
It does.
It makes sense, because then how would the claws work if it wasn't part of his power set?
It was a mystery
what I mean?
to all of us forever until then.
Like, in hindsight, I'm saying.
Well, it makes sense now. But you never even because we're talking about fictional characters. So there's just some things that you never question. But I remember after he did it, and the first time he popped his claws, I was like, ah!
It's like they're bones. Holy shit!
That's when he would like bleed a lot.
Every time.
When he would pop.
Yeah,
his claws.
and he had to pop. Yeah, because he had to pop the skin every time he put him away. It healed immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it hurt because as they were coming out, it was healing. And
Yeah, how crazy is that? Every time he pops his claws, he hurts himself.
well, I
Like
mean,
he literally hurts every time he uses.
well, and you got to
And
think
was
about it. There,
And who was it that broke? Because when they were bone, because they kept them that way for like a year or two
Yeah.
before we got to end.
so many people broke.
They
remember-
broke
you remember
them, and
when-
they didn't heal straight?
Cyber.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Cyber
Just
broke
ripped him
his-
in half.
No, he smashed him and just cracked him. And that was the guy. He had adamantium lace skin,
Again,
Yes,
and he had those claws with
Poison.
like a neurotoxin or something.
and his mutant power he could get in your head. You know what I
Honorable
mean?
mention. What a bad motherfucker he was.
Cyber was invented
It was-
just to fight. You know what I mean?
so was Lady Deathstrike.
It was kind
Yeah.
of the
She's
Nightfall.
honorable
It was
mention.
kind of Nightfall, but for Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like he was the guy that broke Wolverine,
Oh yeah,
and like he was scared of him.
yeah.
I remember after
deathly
that,
afraid.
he was
yeah.
That was the only
like
person
Wolverine
he was scared of.
afraid of that motherfucker.
Well, yeah, he was the first person that he went up against that he literally got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Successfully, yeah. Because
Yeah.
No, he
Well,
didn't
yeah,
just- he
he's
didn't
been
just-
knocked around.
He
But
didn't just kick his ass. Like
he owned him.
He he broke his claws, but like you got to think of the just
Excuse me.
in Wolverine's mind, like watching his claws. But that's his strength right there, and he shattered it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like that shit's
He broke his dick.
More or less. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
essentially.
beat the brakes off of him.
Oh yeah. So what's up, Aaron?
Well, all right. Well, I got a bunch of honorable mentions as well, and but Angie told me to add the Beast from Split and his
Oh shit.
characters.
That's a good one.
Well, and come to find that it is part of the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
which
I knew that.
Yeah, and I do think that is a phenomenal character. Yes, it dwells on DID and a lot of
Phenomenal
other things.
actor, the way that he was able to
Elijah
play
Wood
out.
did such a good job at that.
Which one are we talking about?
Split. I think it was Elijah Wood.
That's not
No.
Elijah
It's the guy that played fucking Professor X.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
guy, James Avery.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
So
They look
McAvoy.
alike.
McAvoy.
Yeah, or McAvoy. Yeah.
Incredible fucking actor.
Oh yeah.
And he
Yeah.
bulked up.
The
to do
kind
that.
of
Oh,
range,
yeah.
the kind of range he had in that, like Split and Glass,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I remember watching Split, because I loved Unbreakable when it came out. I was like, this is fucking the shit.
It was
And
it was long.
It was
genius.
It was genius. And then I watched Split, and I was like, this is like a cool movie, like cool as fuck. And then, but when you see Bruce Willis at the end, I was like, holy fucking shit. Like I hadn't read anything about it, so I like did not know that it was a sequel.
Oh shit! Wow, really?
I did not. I had no idea. So then
I knew.
Then I saw by the end, I was like, holy. So I'm like so glad I didn't know.
Yeah, all three of them combined together
Yeah.
to tell an amazing
I don't have
story.
nothing.
But I didn't, because like throughout that movie, you don't see anything that ties it to Unbreakable
No, you don't.
until
Till
the
the end,
very
yeah.
end.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fucking shit. And then Glass. I mean, obviously, that movie.
Yeah, but that right there is one of those things where I always talk about with the spoilers. You know what I mean? For the
you don't
internet.
get that moment.
Yeah, 'cause-
and I
yeah.
still remember.
And I didn't have it because it was all over the like I wasn't even looking for it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything like Screen Crush was saying, "Hey, it's been 20 years because it was a long time.
Yeah.
It might even have been 30.
It was a really long time.
I think it was about 20.
Yeah, 20 years between.
Was it
Unbreakable.
20?
It was at least 20.
Yeah, because
No, 'cause
Unbreakable was like early
Look it up.
2000s.
Look it up.
Well,
Look
I
it up.
got you.
Look it
I'm on
up.
it.
Look it up.
I know for a fact it was at least 20.
That's a good pick.
But while you're out there, and that was from Angie. That was her one of her.
Shout out to Angie.
Yeah.
Good one, Angie.
2000 and Unbreakable.
Okay. See, yeah, I was like,
To
I
what?
knew it was
2000.
2000. Okay. And
I want to say 2015 or 16.
damn near 20 years.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, we're old.
That's. I knew it was a long time because, I always hated that. We didn't get more of it up until we got Split. And what a fucking great movie! Those are all great movies.
Oh, they are.
Fuck, I
Split
love
came
them.
out in 2016, and Glass came out in 2019.
All right, so
16 years and
16
then 3 years.
that's crazy.
I'm gonna have to use my pick for one of my favorite all-time.
M. Night
ninjas.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
He's a hit or miss director.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
When he hits it good. But when he misses it, man, oh.
I mean, that's what she said.
But I'm gonna go with Storm Shadow because
Oh.
I mean I've been about ninjas and things like that for years. I love G.I. Joe. I know. Snake Eyes will always be one of my favorite Joes ever.
Storm Shadow is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, they're both from the same tribe. One good. It's yin and yang. But got to throw some GI shout outs into the GI Joe in there because
Larry Hama, creator,
Hell yeah.
genius,
They're
Tell us about Storm Shadow.
he's from the Kasagi. Did I say that right?
Irish Kage.
Tribe. He was, I want to say, like a foster brother to Snake Eyes, or Snake Eyes was his foster brother because they both weren't born into the clan, but Storm Shadow was, I believe.
They were in Vietnam together.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Storm Shadow is actually Japanese. Snake Eyes is a white guy in the comics. And then the Stalker, the black dude. They were all.
So is this like the classic tale, like the guy born into it was overshined by the guy that got adopted in?
kind of
And then
pretty much, yeah.
Then he got better, and they were friends, but it's like
Ooh, I got Jigsaw from Punisher.
Yes.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
parallel
What?
from Punisher. The Punisher's enemy, Jigsaw.
Yes.
He was
he-
one of my honorable.
Oh, he's
honorable
awesome.
But
Especially in the Netflix show, that was a solid era.
No, he was awesome in Warzone. Like
Yeah.
every Punisher deal that has been out is fucking absolute gold. I don't give a fuck.
R.I.P. to what's his name, Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yes,
He just passed away. That's sad.
that does suck because he just killed it and fucking.
Oh,
so,
God. Yes,
yeah.
he did.
he was so fucking good in that show. I still haven't finished it yet.
Well, it's because the last episode ain't out
yeah.
yet. It comes out tomorrow.
All right, so next week.
No, tonight. Today's Tuesday.
I thought it was Wednesday.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's Tuesdays at 6.
Tuesday.
So
So,
last week it came out.
No,
it's
Well,
not
by
out.
the time anybody's hearing this,
yeah.
it'll be last week.
all right.
Yes, yeah.
So
So
next
it's out now.
next week we do a recap on Ahsoka.
All right.
You guys.
All right, let's do it 2 weeks then.
Yeah.
Because I want in on that. I got my kids next week. So
Okay.
Sounds like a good.
All right, yeah, we'll
that gives
see
us
we-
plenty of time to watch it.
Yeah. But I will say that because this took place like we're talking 60s when G.I. Joe came out. You know what I mean? But it was deeper than that. Basically, so you have they were all in Vietnam together. And that's when the reason Snake Eyes doesn't talk because there was a helicopter. I kind of swear what's the movie with Robert Downey Jr. when they're you know what I mean
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic
there were certain points of that which I really thought they took from G.I. Joe, but kind of,
They may have.
yeah, fictionalized and comedy wise. But anyway, basically, Snake Eyes had a twin sister, and she was killed in a car wreck by Cobra Commander's brother. You know what I mean? And that's what started this whole thing. That's what started the entire Cobra thing. His brother was drunk driving, so it was his fault. But
This
Cobra,
is in a.
this is in the comics.
Wow, dude.
Back in-
That's,
it was
84, I believe, is when the first G.I. Joe came out.
that's interesting
Yeah,
that they chose like the drunk driving thing. That's,
Yeah. So it killed Snake Eyes' sister, but it killed Cobra Commander's brother, even though it was his fault because he was drunk driving. So Cobra Commander's brother was like, it wasn't my brother's fault, and Snake Eyes' family, was the people that did this. Well, anyway, they get out of the military. He ended up the helicopter bomb exploded, so it cut his vocal cords, scarred half his face, so he couldn't talk. That's why Storm Shadow took him back to Japan with him to learn ninjutsu. Blah 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 blah. They were all good guys, and then it was really deep, like how it all started.
And this is like a subplot.
Yeah.
This isn't even like
But
the
this
whole.
but
plot
this is
to-
how it all started,
Exactly.
more or less.
That's
but then
dope.
Zartan, the one that used to change colors, hide in the shadows in the cartoon.
Shapeshifter almost.
Yeah, they actually said he's a mutant now. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
But he ended up killing Storm Shadow's uncle, but he made it look like Storm Shadow did it. So that's the whole reason he went to fucking Cobra. It was so dope. Like it is so crazy how that whole story came together. Like I didn't, as a kid, I didn't even appreciate it. It was
much more complex than I would have gave it.
Yeah. But it took me as an adult to actually grasp onto how dope that was.
You're like, oh god, this is like really fucked up.
Well, it was kind of after some of the new movies that they've made that I dive back into it to, dig in more in. Because, I read them as a kid, so I couldn't remember everything. But then looking it up and learning, I was like, oh, okay. So that they did stay pretty true in the G.I. Joe origins that they did with Snake Eyes. Which
Except for they changed his race. But they've always said Asians have always been mad because you know how hard
that he was white.
Yeah. And that's because it'd be really hard as far as Japanese go, and I really, as someone that's lived in Japan, when we think about racism between black and white, like it's always, that's an American thing for the most part. Like it exists in other places, but a lot of times people will say Japanese are some of the most, they can be, not all of them, because that's very pushed. But if you're not Japanese, you're wrong.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Gaijin.
So the chant, exactly. Gaijin is a white foreigner. Kokojin is a black. For you to be in a ninja clan and not be Japanese is fucking impossible. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not going to accept, and that's just, and I don't even really think it's a racist thing. It's just a tradition.
Thing.
Yeah. It's a cultural, So, you know what I mean?
Which is why The Last Samurai was such a great movie.
That's not to say it's not like a racist kind of mindset.
Right. Yeah. But like, I don't want to group an entire fucking people.
Culture. Yeah, it's their culture.
Yeah.
I mean, for thousands of years, they had no connection to the outside world because of where their island was located.
Right. That's true.
And come to find out, it was a Japanese person that sailed to China, not meaning to, just floated off to China. And that's how the Kung Fu and stuff started in China, was a guy from Japan that studied Bushido and ninjutsu. It just all kind of rolled into one.
I think karate has a similar
basis.
Story.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, because I want to say karate started in Japan too, didn't it?
It did. That one is strictly Japanese.
Karate is a Japanese art.
Yeah.
Damn sure.
Well, so is Bushido.
But it's always funny when you start, like, I when I was in the Marines, I lived in Okinawa. Okinawa people, like, when you think of Japan, it's a group of islands. The biggest one's roughly about the size of Manhattan, but there are a bunch of little bitty ones in between. They're like city size. Okinawa is one of them city size ones, you know what I mean?
With a military base on it.
Yeah.
That's where my dad was stationed.
And a lot of the people there were like half Japanese and half Chinese. So like the Chinese don't really like them and the Japanese don't really like them either. So Okinawans consider themselves Okinawans, you know what I mean? And I remember there's a fucking Van Damme movie that came out while I was over there. I think it was called The Quest. And it's the one where, where they had people, it was another Kumite type of thing where you had people fighting from all over the world. And there was a scene where it had this sumo wrestler fighting kung fu / karate guy. And it said, and they would always say the countries. And it was like Japan versus Okinawa. And I was watching it with my Japanese girlfriend. I was like, wait a minute. Isn't Okinawa in Japan? And then the fucking sumo guy
he was like, oh, hell to the no.
Yeah, he knocked out the Okinawan guy in like 3 seconds, and she was pissed. I was like, oh, did I pick the wrong movie? You know what I mean? I did not know my audience. You know what I mean? But that's really how they, how they look at it. Like Okinawans are separate from, you know what I mean?
Well, they touch on that in the Karate Kid act as well.
Which one? The original?
Yeah. And two is when they go back to Okinawa, because that's where Mr. Miyagi was from. Was Okinawa. 3. It was 2 and 3, because in 2 they were on the island during that hurricane when he saved the little girl. And
shit!
No,
yeah, I forgot about that.
No, the second one's when he has the bonsai store.
No, that's the third one.
Is that the third one?
Yep.
All right, so
I
you're
seen
right.
those in years, so that's
you're right.
Go back and watch those. Thank you, man.
You're right. The second one was in Japan, and then
because they're in Okinawa, and they even touch on that in the series on Netflix.
Yeah, the guy, the actor that played the rival comes back.
Yeah,
that was so great.
Daniel.
How fucking great is that show?
Oh, I love it. It's great.
It's so fucking cheesy, but
even John Cleese is back.
Somehow
in it.
it's like the best shit ever.
Hey, yo, let's give props to Netflix for picking it up after YouTube dropped it.
And YouTube's kicking themselves in the dick right now.
Oh, I guarantee they are.
No, I think YouTube stalled with it. I think their YouTube Red
That's where it came out. Yeah.
And I mean, that was what they tried to launch with it, and it's like, oh, well, it didn't work. Okay, Netflix.
Well,
there's
grabbed me when it was on that YouTube Red. That's where
that's
I
when
watched.
I saw it. Yeah.
Didn't the first season come out on YouTube?
YouTube
Yeah,
Red.
it did,
That was the first thing
right.
that came out on YouTube Red.
Yeah.
Other than sports,
So to get their money back, they had to fucking like sell it off to somebody else.
Pretty much, yeah. Because
They were like,
you
"Fuck,
might
we're
you might be onto something there.
yeah, because
they're
they got 2
scooping-
seasons
they're
out of it, and
scooping
then
buckets of water out of the fucking boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was, but Netflix. I got to give it up to Netflix. They never even put it out as it ever being a YouTube show.
Yeah.
So I remember Matt and I were talking about it.
Well, because they re-released the first
2
season,
seasons, yeah.
and they're like Netflix, bitch.
Yeah, but then there were the people that had never seen it was like, "Yo, have you seen this new show?" And me and Matt were like, "We saw that a year ago on YouTube Red." You know what I mean?
they're like, "What's that?"
It's such a fun show. Or it almost reminds me of like Power Rangers in the cheesy factor.
It's so cheesy.
You know what I mean?
It is.
It is so.
It's
but
not that
But
cheesy.
it's so
No.
fucking
Yeah, it's not Power Rangers cheesy.
But then
And don't get me
it'll
wrong,
be
I love the
cheesy.
Power
That's the
Rangers.
appeal.
It'll be cheesy as fuck, and then you'll want to cry like 10 minutes later because of some shit.
One of my favorite lines of that is like the wife of Daniel's like, oh man, he was talking about
So
somebody.
fucking hot, dude.
It's like, yeah, he had a midlife crisis, hooked up with some 18-year-old and started a ska band. I was like, all right.
Yes.
Yeah, they're having a fucking gang war. Like, what are we doing? We sell cars.
We chop the prices on these cars too.
Dude, so funny.
But first of all, can we just say I love the fact that so much of our childhood is getting these TV
Revamped.
shows, and and the fact that they're like the best thing about that show is how
like-
many of the original actors
yeah.
that are still involved.
I think that's really what the appeal is. But also,
And they did it, and the homage they did to the Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
and how they make Daniel not like the shining like star. Like
He makes him. They make him a douche. He's a douche.
Yeah,
half the
he's a
time.
fucking dick.
It's just like,
They like
in
switched.
3.
So he's not like perfect.
Yeah.
Well, no, and it's kind of showing what he learned when he did go and learn Cobra Kai.
Have you guys seen the like fan theory that the entire Karate Kid, the first movie, Daniel was actually the bad guy? Imagine.
Yes, I've seen that
No,
theory.
How I Met Your Mother.
No,
Yes.
imagine
That's what
that you are just living
Barney
your life.
from How I Met Your Mother said that.
Imagine you're just living your life. You're a fucking teenager. You're a badass at your dojo. You got your fucking girl, and then some fucking douchebag from Jersey shows up and starts fucking hitting on your chick. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna
Sweep
do
the leg.
You're gonna do that. That's right.
Well, then he had the abusive dick stepfather and
Yeah, yeah.
all that other shit, which you see kind of. I mean, that was cool too because you saw the
only
evolution
thing-
of him.
The only thing that they leaned on for Johnny being the bad guy was that he was a rich kid, like a rich, spoiled dickhead. But really, he
Fucking
wasn't.
cracker.
He wasn't set off.
Bill said that, by the way. That was not me.
Yeah,
It was the other guy.
white bread motherfucker.
That's that other cracker in the corner there.
But that has a lot of good honorable mention bad guys in it, you
Oh,
know.
fuck yeah.
And John Cleese being the
Oh,
number, and then Terry Silva, of course. But yeah, John Cleese did a phenomenal job both in
Dude,
the
how
originals
good was the
and that.
Terry Silva guy? Especially considering he hasn't acted since.
Oh, see, I didn't
Like,
know
like
that.
John Machida he hadn't done a whole lot. You know what I mean? Little bit parts here and
Like
there.
a lot of those guys hadn't acted in years. and
Yeah.
it's like they're in one of the biggest shows, in the past decade.
Well, and some of those kids, they're just getting into their acting career, and
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those kids, if they revamped like Power Rangers, they could use. He would have been a great like White Ranger. He's like a Tommy-ish.
The nerd kid that couldn't fight, didn't want to fight at first. I forget the character's name.
they have been
Oh,
revamping
Hawk?
Power Rangers
Not
for 30
Hawk.
years.
Hawk.
But Hawk was
He's
cool.
my fucking fave.
I like
no,
Hawk.
but he was the nerdy one that was the friends with Hawk.
I
not
like when he takes the
Yeah.
gi off when they're at the tournament. He takes his top off and he shows the eagle
the Hawk tattoo, yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah. Speaking of Power Rangers, before we get back onto the villains,
The Green Ranger, he was a villain.
yeah, and
He was.
but
He kicked the shit out of the Rangers for 5 episodes.
yeah, he
dude.
did, and it was dope.
Stressing us all us kids up.
Yeah.
Eli.
We were all
Eli
sweating.
was Eli was Hawk. That was the character name.
Yeah, he's the shit. I like him.
But rest in peace to Jason
David Frank.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
But they did a new Power Rangers movie on Netflix with the original cast. This was
for real?
Yeah, earlier this year, and it's super cheesy too.
But it's good.
But it's
But
good.
that's what you expect.
Yeah, but here's the good thing. Trini died. She died of cancer, I believe. That she was the Yellow Ranger, the hot Asian.
the Asian
Yes.
chick?
Yeah, she died like this is while the show was still going.
Yeah,
on.
I think that's why they replaced her with the black girl.
black girl,
I can't think-
Aisha.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So her daughter is grown now, and they put her daughter in it.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, you know what I mean. I almost got misty eyed.
Dude,
I did. Being a Power Rangers fan,
Yeah.
I did.
One of the greatest fandoms ever, I think, is the Power Rangers fandom. Like, nobody fights about it. They're all just like, we love this. And I like that. I respect that. And, like, that's what I hate about the fucking... I'm almost ashamed to be a Star Wars fan sometimes.
Yeah,
It's
Just
the most
talk about
toxic fan
Like,
base
you don't even
ever.
want to say...
Transformers is just as bad,
Yeah,
right?
that is
Trust
true.
me.
I'm a fan of both.
Bill saw me. I was like ready to murder motherfuckers a couple weeks ago. Just
Don't talk shit on the Transformers, man.
Yeah, why are we all fighting? We all like the same fucking thing.
yeah, I don't get it.
That's how we like it.
Yeah, you like it wrong.
And people
like
people
it
will really say
raw.
that shit.
I know, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
It's the dumbest thing ever. Like,
Yeah.
like what you like, fucking it.
It's like, I don't like beer, then don't drink it.
Facts.
No shit.
yeah,
You know,
I don't think you like Star Wars. You just like to argue.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Facts. All right, Bill.
Anyway, Bill's up next.
Oh, so the next one, and you got to kind of go to the top as far as villainy and just
Villainy. What a great word.
evilness. And the next one on the list, I think, has to top it all. Mephisto.
Oh, good one.
I mean, if you're gonna go
What?
for the
There's
go,
a look on your face.
I would, no, but I'm gonna
he's
let
a
him finish.
trickster.
I'm gonna let him finish.
And
Kanye, let him finish.
Yeah, no shit. I'm gonna let you finish.
You know, he
But
is-
I'm gonna say Beyonce's album. No, go ahead.
My bad, sorry.
I'm gonna let you finish.
that was it. That's all I had. It's the devil, and you know, in a different name. And I think where I've liked the character, Donny Cates kind of had him kind of just appear in hell, and it's the trickster character, and he's like he plays it's the friend, it's this good stuff, but then that's the trick that lures you in, and you know all this other stuff.
Classic devil shit.
Yeah, the trick. You know the you know, God doesn't always give you what you want, but the devil will give you always what you want, and that's the trick.
With the price, yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a price.
The face that you got from that was just in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Mephisto was, you know, king of hell, but he wasn't like
They didn't call him Satan.
yeah. And they hinted that nobody knew if he was actually the Satan or not. You know what I mean?
And sometimes he's not.
Yeah.
He gets dethroned. He's just another kind of demon. stuff.
High-powered henchman.
But I will say, as far as getting onto that whole power level shit, the Marvel characters, other than like the Eternals, you know what I'm saying?
Mephisto is powerful
Yeah.
as fuck.
There's not too many people that
That's
can.
kind of how
stop
they
him.
scaled Thanos' power in the Infinity Gauntlet. Because
with the gauntlet.
right, Mephisto was kind of doing like what you were saying, Bill. He was kind of trying to play shit, like act like he was Thanos's like
Loki a little bit.
lackey.
Too.
Yeah, his little lackey and shit. And then he tried to eventually steal the gauntlet and failed. But I mean, he did the same sort of thing you were talking about.
So there was a Avengers Assemble crossover at Avengers Assemble in the Avengers regular storyline. Jason Aaron wrote it. The same guy who wrote the Gore, the God Killer, the Thor.
Right.
That was a good series.
It was really good.
Assembled
That's one I read.
many different multiverses. So we had a multiverse of Thors and Avengers coming against a multiverse of Dooms. There was a Doom of all Dooms. There was a Mephisto of all Mephistos. So you had legions of these characters going to war against the others.
Right.
You
Where
had
we
the
get Throg, I
Avengers.
believe.
He was in it, but like many different Thors. or Captain America. There's a Captain America that was a dog.
Well, you had the frog
And there was
at
like
the
a
store.
dog. There was this Captain America character. It was a beautiful story. He was the total underdog. He had no superpowers, but he was still wearing the Captain America uniform, and he was basically like the water boy until he actually had his moment at the very end, and then kind of like died in this heroic moment.
I remember those characters because I want to say it tied into Howard the Duck as well because they had like different all the normal heroes that we have here on Earth, but they were all different animals. It was like there was a turtle. There was
one of the alternate universes.
No, I want to say it was kind of like the planet where Howard the Duck came from.
This one was fairly new. Was in the last few years that Jason Aaron
Was
wrote,
Howard
but-
the Duck part of the high evolutionary shit?
No,
not at all.
No, he's just from a different planet.
Yeah,
When are we gonna get that movie?
we had that movie in 19.
I know that. I know that.
Leah Thompson.
I
What's his
remember
name's
the
been
duck
voiced-
titties.
Yeah. What's his name's been voicing the fucking funny
Or
kid
the
from
duck.
Scream.
or the mom from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Seducing
right.
the duck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
She's-
Miss
yo,
Leah
she's
Thompson.
still
What a
hot.
fucking
Oh yes,
Is that the
garbage
birth of
fucking
furries?
movie, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
so-
worth the shit, man.
It's so
Fuck off,
bad.
man.
It's so bad. But I remember watching it as like a kid, dude, like really young.
I was 12, so.
Yeah, and like you're like,
I was 8.
I mean, they're titties.
Yeah.
Well, and we saw her, and I want to say it was either Little Rascals first before we saw her that, and so we were just like, oh
Are you talking about the stepmom
no,
from Terminator?
No, I'm talking about Back to the Future.
Oh,
His
The
mother.
mom.
The
Yeah,
one
that's
that hit
Marty
on him.
Scott's mom.
I thought you said
Yeah.
Terminator. What the fuck?
Yeah, you're.
I'll be back.
This is what Vanessa tells me. You don't listen.
Linda. Listen,
Yo, but
listen.
as far as his powers, like I am glad you mentioned him because I've always thrown him to the back burner. You know what I mean? Because you know how I am when it comes to the cosmic characters. Like their powers are so vast. The stories weren't as fun for me. You know what I mean? And I think part like my love for G.I. Joe was just it. None of them had powers for the most part. You know what I mean? And I've always
They all
gravitated.
specialized
Yeah,
in something.
I've grabbed like why I like Iron Man so much. It's possible, not probable, but it's possible. You know what I mean? And then even the X-Men, they have their Earth problems. I like my superheroes and villains Earthbound.
on Earth.
Yeah, but one of the cooler things with Mephisto is the fact that fucking Wanda's kids.
Oh, right. Yeah, so in the comics, that's how she got
Yeah,
her
because
kids was making a deal with the devil.
Yeah, because obviously she can't have him with Vision. He's not human. You know what I'm saying?
He can't, like, make some cyber sperms.
So it took me forever to realize WandaVision.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? Wow, dude.
It really did. And then, but it was also a television and a television show, so it was
Yeah.
this like double entendre.
Yeah, that was the
Oh, my
point.
God. That is
It's
hilarious.
funny though.
But yeah, all right.
That's you really didn't think of that?
It took me a while. Yeah.
Yo, that's happened to me
Till
on other.
just now?
No, not just now.
Oh,
but-
okay.
Yeah, just now. Actually, just now.
Bill just became
I
conscious.
just now, and I'm going to die.
He's like, oh, God, I'm going to die someday.
But yo, I'm pretty sure we talked about this in the group. Like, I don't even know if it made. I think we talked about it during WandaVision. But there was during the Halloween episode where it had her and Vision in their comic,
their OG
accurate.
costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they're
He had, like, the basketball shorts on.
yeah.
And the green and the
Yeah,
the
she has
yellow.
so cool.
Which she looks so sexy in that.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
sorry. You know what I mean? Like talking about that's how I like my cosplay, comic book accurate. You know
Yes.
what I mean? But anyway, I had missed it, yeah. But I had missed it. So this is one of the things that I think the internet was good for because I don't know if I ever would have caught it. And we don't know if this was on purpose. It's Marvel, so it was probably on purpose. Right. But remember, there was when she turned around, like she was holding the kids' hands when they were like at 7 or 8. You know what I mean? Because they grew rapidly. And there was somebody in a devil costume that looked suspiciously like Mephisto in the background.
Yeah.
They
they're
100%
talking
did that
about
on
it.
purpose.
But you only saw it, and then but then there were people like, well, we're going to see that happen later, and we never saw it. I was like, you guys are reaching.
I still think we may see him in if they ever overdue do the spinoff with oh crap, what's her name? The other witch.
Agatha.
Yes, thank you.
It's
Agatha.
coming. It's coming.
Well, we
I
gotta
think
get.
that's
we gotta
where
get
we're going to
past-
see him.
Hold on.
We got to get past this fucking writer's strike, man.
It's
They
over.
did.
Is it
They
over?
did.
Oh, is it over?
We won.
Yeah.
Woo! All
What
right.
do you mean we won?
The rules as far as what was
Yeah.
going on with fucking.
All right,
The
cool.
writers won.
I fucking knew they would. Like, just do it. Like, give them what the fuck they want.
I'm gonna have to.
Like, you know, you're being fucked up. Just like do what the fuck they're at. They're not asking for anything ridiculous.
They want a livable wage.
But yeah,
Well, and
not let. Yeah, I take over.
is it
Yeah.
gratuity
No.
or what's the
Royalties.
Royalties.
There you go.
Gratuity is like tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lego figs! Yay!
What is that?
Legos.
They're minifigs.
Did you just give him those? You haven't gave me no fucking minifigs or not a damn thing, motherfucker.
Passing them out for examples.
Oh my god!
I'm just like, all of a sudden I got Lego minifigs.
Everybody's
in my hand.
handing out gifts. I don't
You
ever
can
get shit.
You can each take one. It's an Agatha Miggy fit.
I don't want it. I don't want it now.
With a dark hold inside.
By the way, the chick that plays Agatha is like 50, and she's
Still
gotten,
super hot.
She's gotten hotter. She's gotten older. You know what I mean?
She could still.
That
get
is
it.
awesome.
And,
She definitely get it.
and she's funny, so it's like
Yes, yeah, being funny and sexy. That's fucking A. I never understood that.
that's men and women like
Yeah.
the same. Like women, you think that's like a woman thing. Like if a dude's funny, he can be unattractive and whatever.
It's true.
But
That's what Tom Arnold said. That was his love advice.
but I
Be
think
funny.
what I'm saying is I think it
Worked for
goes.
me.
I think it goes both ways. Like, do you
Both
want to
ways, do
be
you?
with a chick you can't laugh with?
Fuck no. It makes a lot.
no.
Yeah, especially if you're looking for the long term.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, being able to
Like,
laugh
you
with
got-
each other's the
if
best.
you can't be best friends, then what the fuck?
It's no point.
Yeah.
Not at all. All right, so
So props to Mephisto. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That is
He's
a
not
good
my
one.
favorite, but that was a good
I
one.
mean,
And I'm glad you mentioned him.
as far as the list goes and being different and eclectic, that's why it was chosen.
I like that one. That one's good.
that is
All
a
right.
good one.
You're up.
So I think, and this is, I said I wouldn't talk about Apocalypse, and I'm not going to, but this is from the Age of Apocalypse and the character Holocaust.
Oh yes,
Wasn't he one of the horsemen?
Yes.
yes.
He was one of the four horsemen
Mm-hmm.
alongside Abyss, and I can't.
Well, there are a bunch of them, but out of the Age of
Well, there's
Apocalypse
four.
line,
There's
yeah.
four.
But I'm saying, but there have been like,
Well, yeah,
archangels.
in that set.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other two off the top of my head, but in a previous episode, the one where you were talking about our favorite comic runs, I said that he was a character called Havoc. And I'm gonna look it up, but he was interesting because he had a power kind of similar to Bishop. I don't know if he absorbed energy. He probably could,
Yeah.
but
He's the one that looked like a skeleton with the suit on, right?
well, yeah, he had the. Let me look him up.
We're not talking the same Havoc that's happened.
No, Holocaust.
I thought it was
Holocaust.
Havoc. I thought
Okay, because Havoc to me, I
That's
think
Cyclops' brother.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going
right,
with that.
and Havoc's in the Age of Apocalypse, so it's not him.
No.
I said Havoc. I was thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't remember him.
We probably
being-
got him drunk that night, so that was probably our fault too.
Probably you motherfuckers.
I didn't put a gun to
I'm
his head.
surprised we're not doing shots.
We planned ahead on not doing them tonight.
You don't want to do one shot.
After you right like now?
Yeah, let's do a shot.
You got whiskey.
What kind of whiskey? The whiskey
All
kind.
right, you do that. I will drink vodka. What about the rest of you?
And
So-
we're
so
back.
We're looking at Lego minifigs. There's this. Agatha.
Harkness.
So you get these blind picks.
Agatha,
There's these boxes,
Agatha.
and you don't know what's inside of them. And there's only like 12 or 18 of them. And I've gotten like so many of these Agatha. She comes with her own dark hold, a little book that opens up,
Which is super cool.
a cape, and a little purple thing that actually like shoots.
What?
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I
so she's
one
got,
too.
and it'll like shoot out. Oh, I failed.
Oh, how cool is that?
But I think it's evil of Lego because how many of these dark holds are they releasing into the universe?
That's a good point.
That is pure evil.
But who can read
But
that dark
and then
hold?
look at her, and then she just winks at you.
Yeah, I was about to say, do all of them have her winking? Because
No, there's two faces. There's a face on each side of the.
How cool is that? They do the two
Oh, I
faces.
gotta have the winking face.
Yeah, the winking face. She's
hey
like,
man, I thought she was just winking at me, you cheaters. It's my bitch.
she winks at everything. She's a
You can have her on Tuesdays.
She's a dumb hooker like that.
Right.
Fucking how?
By the way, I will say as far because she's definitely a villain. I saw it coming, but not like it wasn't a surprise because every time she would do like a laugh,
Oh yeah, she was evil.
It was a very witch like those 80s, 70s TV shows.
Yeah.
Every time she laughed, I was like, man, that's kind of wicked.
Well, and she was always there when the problem happened.
Yeah.
Started.
So I didn't know it was gonna happen, but when it happened, it was like no surprise.
It was
Okay.
clear. It was clear she was.
Foreshadowing.
She was nefarious as fuck.
I didn't see her being Agatha. I expected something different.
All right, fucking faggles.
Right.
You're a fagel.
What is that? A group of?
Here's to us. Cheers, mate.
Hold on, I'm coming in.
I got short arms.
We're fucking shooting vodka like a bunch of broke fucks. Oh, geez.
It's Ciroc.
This is Ciroc. It doesn't get too much more expensive when you're getting on vodka. This is P. Diddy's shit.
All right.
So back to Holocaust because
like
All right,
it's going to tie into mine.
It's water that tastes like pineapple.
It was
I
actually
was not expecting the pineapple
Oh,
flavor.
sorry, my bad.
That's okay. I was expecting vodka.
pretty good.
Thank you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually
That's
really
my
good.
favorite.
He said thank you like he made it.
Well, how do you know
well,
we didn't?
thank you.
I was the one
Anyway.
that introduced
The internet's got everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to Holocaust, Age of Apocalypse. I showed you guys a little picture of how he looks. Did you see?
That's him completely powered up.
Fuck.
Bill's getting
Got
fucking
me.
drunk.
It got me too. I was like, what
Not
happened?
on
All right,
one
all right,
shot.
all right. So I said Holocaust. Actually, his name, his alias before being Holocaust, when he was still in human form, was Nemesis.
I didn't know that.
I did not either.
He had, like I said, he had powers similar. Or here, let me pull up his power set. But I think he had like energy manipulation type
I
powers.
knew that.
Okay. Holocaust originally possessed the ability to absorb various forms of ambient energy, including life energy from other beings, which is fucking crazy.
Mega Red.
So basically, he was a more advanced version of Bishop's power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually, I think he absorbed so much power that it destroyed his body, but he still persisted as energy.
Okay.
Inside that suit.
Well, right. That's what the suit does. It's like a crystal. It's made of some sort of crystal, maybe the same ruby quartz or some shit like that.
Like Cyclops.
Yeah, something like that. That traps that energy so he doesn't dissipate.
Yeah.
And he's got like a big old fucking cannon arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really badass. And just that name, it really actually fits to what Apocalypse is doing in that timeline. I mean, it's very Hitler-ish. He's going around and killing just humans en masse. Very similar to how Hitler performed the Holocaust and killed off,
Hundreds of thousands.
millions.
Some people say millions.
Millions of Jews.
Jewish. Just so not to piss off
I
listeners.
mean,
But that
No,
and
I'm
more
not
too.
saying-
There's also political advocates.
I'm not saying that
media
like a
people,
dude-
but that was definitely the majority of people.
Yeah.
But
they definitely killed more than Jews. But I'm saying I didn't mean that in like a derogatory way. I'm just
Yeah, I honestly, because I've been in radio, you know what I'm saying, I've noticed, because I used to run around saying things like that, but it's almost like, whether you say African American or Negro, you know what I mean? It's not definitely a derogatory term.
I don't think
but,
it's the same.
But
or
no, it is.
Lego or Legos.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But no,
It's definitely not the same.
Jewish
definitely
people
not the same. Not
definitely
the same at all.
prefer Jewish over Jew. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
That's why I did this.
Okay.
No,
Fair enough.
you know what I mean?
But just the choice of that name was very.
Nefarious.
No, I think it was
selected.
Yeah, it was very specific, like, because I think they were mirroring what happened in World War II.
Right.
I'm getting a little tipsy. I can't even
Already?
Really?
World War II.
So you turn into Trump. You sounded just like World War II.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be
The greatest.
stop with that.
Oh, you got him good.
I hate that so much. We do one shot.
Hey, you guys are a couple beers in. I've only had the one shot.
We
I've
have
only had one. I'm 1-1 right now.
all right, but anyway, so that was my second pick, Holocaust.
Which leads me into mine. And it's technically two. There was a character called Holocaust in the Milestone universe. So this is they're part of DC now. But this was the African American company that had Blood Syndicate, Icon, and Rocket.
Blood Syndicate was
Static.
shit.
Blood Syndicate. The new one is. I'm mad that
That red dot is so iconic on his mask. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you may not have read those comics, but you.
Oh, you're thinking about Blood.
Bloodsport or Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
Is
That's
it
right. Yeah,
something
it's different.
different? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's
the,
like
the one that Vin Diesel did the movie on that was way different from the comic. That's what you're thinking about.
Okay.
Blood Syndicate was it's the same thing that Static Shock came from.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Isn't Blood Syndicate almost like Brother Blood in the DC universe?
No, it's a street gang. You know what I mean?
So
It's a
basically,
street gang that has superpowers.
Oh, okay.
so this was a label that did mostly like minority type.
Yeah, they were all and now they've been rolled into the DC universe.
Which is cool because Static Shock. There's so many people that
Yeah.
love him.
Yes.
I like Static.
I can't believe it hasn't gotten a live action yet, to be honest. But anyway,
It
there
will.
was a he started off in Blood Syndicate, but he was on the Static Shock TV show and in the comic, and his name was Holocaust as well.
On the show.
Yeah. Well, I think no, they changed it for they changed it in the comic. He started off as a good guy. He was part of the Blood Syndicate. He was second in charge, and he tried to take over leadership, and the original leader actually beat him. So he left. It was like, fuck y'all. Like literally said, and I loved it because
Started his own shit.
and started his own gang. And then he changed his name because like they did follow gang rules. So if you lose a gang fight, like you lose your rank and you have to change your name.
So this was based on like gang shit.
Yeah.
Like for real though.
Yeah. So he lost. He couldn't use his name anymore, and I think they did that on purpose. And they changed his name to Pyre, which still means fire. I think at the time in the 90s, it was okay to have a character called Holocaust. I didn't even think about the racial implications to it because I was fucking 15, 16. But to have a character named Holocaust whose power was shooting fire, you know what I mean?
That's nuts.
You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I think a lot of times black folks don't always think about being that the past, that you can be racist or, you know what I mean? Without thinking about it, you know what I mean? Because when you think about what the Holocaust was, them burning people alive.
That's why I like how they did it in the Age of Apocalypse. It seemed very deliberate. They were trying to send that like heart-wrenching message that they are doing.
Yeah, and I don't think it was
they're
like that
they're
for this.
literally committing genocide on a massive scale.
But I don't
So
think that was
that
the meaning
name
on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, that name for Nemesis after he changed into the suit, I think that was a very deliberate thing. I don't think it was like they just did it as a one-off. That was part of like the story.
Right.
That's what they were doing at the time.
So this Holocaust, like I said, started off as a good guy, ended up going rogue. He recruited Static into his new game, or his new gang, you know what I mean? And he was even in the cartoon. And he stayed a villain ever since then. So he had, slight super strength. He was impervious to fire. He could shoot fire he could control fire, but it wasn't just like, he didn't have to, like Pyro. He didn't have to have the fire start.
I was just thinking about Pyro.
Yeah, he could emanate it more like Human Torch and make the fire. And he was definitely a cool character. But
Another honorable mention.
But they changed his name to Pyre, and I think that was probably a smart thing a year into their thing.
Because that name, it just didn't really make sense.
It did, but it
Like, it
not
makes-
not in a positive way.
Not. It didn't like further the story.
True, but here's the thing. Like I understand why they changed it now. Then I didn't, because I thought there was in the 90s trying to be politically incorrect I thought that was a cowardly way of doing it. Like I remember there was a rapper that was called the PR terrorist, which stood for Puerto Rican terrorist. He was Puerto Rican, but after 9/11 he dropped that whole name because he
Cuban B.
Lady Antebellum.
the group.
Now is Lady A.
Yeah, I didn't know the reason behind that.
Because there's a slave connotation to Lady Antebellum.
See, I didn't know that. I did read about it, but I never knew that beforehand. You know what I mean?
I didn't either.
So,
But that's why they changed it to Lady A instead of Lady Antebellum.
all right, makes sense now. All right, and then my other one is Sebastian Shaw.
Oh, he's good.
Yes, so he also has a similar power. His power is closer to Bishop's. He can absorb any kinetic energy, whether it's somebody punching him, taking a laser blast. They said
Grenade thrown at him.
yeah,
like in the
he could
movie.
even like if he could take the
I thought
energy.
Bishop could do all that too. Any
If somebody-
type of energy that,
He can, but he can.
like, even if you shoot him, he absorbs that kinetic. Like,
Yes,
he
from
gets
a
hit
bullet.
with a bullet.
Yeah. But he couldn't do it as well as Sebastian Shaw. Like Sebastian Shaw can turn it into raw strength, and
He can manipulate it and
Yeah.
like put it to what he wants. to use it
exactly.
for.
Bishop can only he can shoot it back at you as blasts of his hands or his guns, and it makes him a little bit stronger and a little bit more impervious. But he can Sebastian Shaw was rich, of course. He was in charge of the
Hellfire Club.
Hellfire Club. Thank you.
Yeah, boy.
So he used to get up in the morning. The first thing he would do was have his henchmen beat him up, just so he would have kinetic energy stored. You know what I mean? So he'd be
just
strong.
to be ready.
Yeah, at all times. And his body just manifested it better overall than Bishop.
Well, and he could hold on to it longer than Bishop.
He had a higher level of control.
control. Yeah.
Because Bishop, I believe, after time would actually explode and expel the energy.
That's what
Exactly.
happened. That's what happened in
Fatal
Le-
Attraction.
Yes.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's because he had been absorbing fucking Magneto's energy the whole time he was holding everybody down, listening to him monologuing.
Yeah.
And he told Wolverine, he was like, "Yo, at any minute I'm going to explode, and this is going to be your chance." You know what I mean? And boom, he did it. And Wolverine was like, "Ah, motherfucker!" And he was like, "Take that, motherfucker!" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Hard eyes, motherfucker.
that when I read that the first time back, what was that, 94 or
Yeah.
something like that? It was like, Wolverine's always been one of my favorite characters, and that hit me. I was just like, oh, he just done got fucked up.
And not only him getting fucked up, but like they really wrote his recovery after that well.
Yeah.
Like because it
Well, it
took,
nearly killed
like he
him.
went
It
into a
killed him.
berserker state for a long ass time after.
Well, yeah, because the adamantium was keeping.
It's not like-
his feral.
yeah, it's not like he ripped it out and then he just healed and
Oh no, Charles and
it took-
Jean had to.
they had to
spend days.
hold
Hold his body back together, and he didn't have his healing factor for like 6 months at all. His
Yeah.
body was so fucked
it was
up.
just trying to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because hundreds of years of regeneration coming back together after
Yeah.
having that shit ripped out. Ooh, ow.
I still remember. I told you I read the foreword of that when it came out as a trade paperback because it wasn't in in the individual issues.
Yeah.
Because it was like it was a 3-month thing over every X book, X Factor, X Men, X Force, Excalibur, X Factor. I hope I named them all. But anyway, when it came out in a trade paperback, like the different writers were talking about, they were sitting at a table. And it was like, well, what should we do that could make this, awesome? And one of the guys was just like, I think it was Chris Claremont, dude that created Sabretooth, was like, yeah, we should have Magneto pull the adamantium out of Wolverine. And he said it as a complete and total joke and was giggling like, that'd be funny. And the whole table got quiet. And this is a round table
And
full
they're
of
like,
Marvel dudes.
they're
They're
like,
like,
that's a good idea.
we should do that. And he was like, I was fucking kidding.
He's like, write it up, motherfucker.
Yeah, right?
Make it happen.
But, can you
I
imagine?
want those 30 words, next 100 words on my desk by the end of the day.
And
Bitch.
It was a
they made it
great
work.
run too. Fatal Attractions
That
is
was
one of my favorite
one-
X-Men runs.
I think maybe that's one of the most iconic runs in comic book history.
oh, hell yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
period, dude. Like, if you win a top 10,
Well,
you
for
win a
Marvel
top
anyway,
10
yeah.
of things like shit, the death of Superman's on there.
Yep.
Fucking.
Death in the Family
Bane.
for Batman.
The Breaking of Batman.
Oh yeah, fuck
Nightfall.
yeah. Like,
Is that
like
that
so
right
if,
now? Yeah.
Yeah.
if you did a top motherfucking 10 of most influential, iconic
Arcs.
storylines,
Those three are definitely
it's right there,
I
dude.
got one more for my last pick when I get there.
All right.
Who's next?
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to, switch.
No, Sean's up.
Oh,
No, I just
yeah,
did
he
mine.
just went.
I did mine too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna switch gears and go with another Marvel route, but it only started.
It always seems to come around with Marvel in this group. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
I mean,
like
I'm gonna throw my shout out for DC because Lobo, the main man.
Fuck yeah!
That guy's always been up there for me on that. But I'm going with Unicron.
Oh my goodness! From Transformers, genius.
Yes,
genius.
I mean, he's a planet. He devours planets, kind of like
He's
Galactus.
Yeah,
but way better than Galactus. I mean,
I do think it's better than Galactus.
he was actually evil. I think Galactus is
He's just like doing what he has to do.
to
survive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unicron actually, was in search just to eat planets. He didn't give two shits.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he was hungry or not.
Yeah,
he devoured everything. I mean, like what he did to Moonbase 1 in the cartoon.
just because.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you guys dare to defy me? All right, fuck off."
I'm going to eat you.
He just happened to be like passing by. He's like, "Oh, I'll eat that snack."
Well, yeah, he just rolls through and you shoot at him. Oh, he's going to eat your planet.
Yeah,
and the fact that he does turn into a giant robot as well is amazing. But the power that he bestows, look what he did to Megatron.
What I always wondered.
he made him Galvatron.
Yeah.
What I always wondered about Unicron is the story behind him. What's the orange?
What's his backstory?
Is he like one of the original?
Yes, there too. Cybertron transforms into a robot too, and it's Primus. And Primus.
So Cybertron is sentient too?
Yes. It
My
was.
name is Mud.
Cybertron. What?
My name is Mud.
Bill.
I missed that one.
Primus.
Oh, the Rock Man. That one went way over my head.
Yeah, me too.
But Primus and Unicron are brothers. When Primus realized he couldn't stop Unicron anymore, he gave up his sentience to create the Transformers, and that's why the Decepticons were the military arm, and the Autobots were they were like to keep the planet running.
But
and
he
the
didn't.
Decepticons
He
were
didn't
supposed to
seem
fight
to really give a fuck about the Decepticons, though, right?
No. Like their internal war is kind of like what's happening with humans.
Yeah.
Primus gave up his life force to make the
So
Transformers.
it's like Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he combined
yeah.
himself into the Allspark.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So he
So,
stayed
so he's the Matrix.
Pretty much.
kind of
Yeah.
So is that his life force?
partially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god!
So the matrix of leadership is like a key to the Allspark. It runs off of it. It can help, generate the spark in an Autobot or Decepticon.
so it's like a conduit.
Kind of, yeah. And that's why, it lights their darkest hour. And throw back to the lines of the movie.
Yeah, that was such a good movie.
But yeah, Primus basically gave up his life to stop Unicron because he couldn't do it.
How many other times have we seen him, or was it just the
So
movie?
since Gen 1, the movie started, we've seen him there. I believe-
Unicron?
Oh yeah.
He was in all of season 4 and 3. Excuse me, season 3 after the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I
Oh,
believe
for
there
real?
was
But yeah, it was mostly his head because remember they blew up his body in the movie.
which
Wow.
Headmasters
Okay.
was the title of that season.
He giggles like a schoolgirl every time we say every time we say headmaster.
That is the fucking funniest name I've ever heard in my life.
But it was the dopest shit to me.
Oh,
'Cause you
and
know
the
what I'm saying?
toys were so awesome,
Yeah,
too.
like I have all of
Oh,
them.
bro, if you did they have a giant Unicron?
Oh, they do. They still
Like
they
a
have
toy?
it. Yeah.
It's
like
like
toy.
$500.
Oh fuck, I
And
bet.
it goes from a giant globe to a ginormous robot.
How cool is that?
It's like a level 500 transformer.
That's
They
That was like a 3-foot scale that
Yeah.
Sean made hand gestures.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Can't nobody see me. My bad.
He's like,
they did
it
make
was
one.
this big. It was like
this big.
3.5 feet.
They made one for Armada. So about when my oldest was like 7, and I bought it for him because it was like $125. But
you bought it for him.
I buy my son's
did.
I
Transformers.
said that
for
in
him.
quotation.
but
Or you were playing with it.
the
You said,
actual
Dad, can I fuck with it?
the
Like,
new one now. Like,
No.
the new one now is $500, and I do want one. And
it's
it'll be in my
ridiculous, yeah.
fucking living room. When
is
I
that
have
gonna be?
So-
Is that from one of the really high end like?
third parties?
Oh
Yeah.
fuck yeah!
So,
So
one of
it's probably bad as fuck, huh?
you brought up like toys that nobody could ever like touch with as a kid. So one of my friends had the aircraft carrier for
from
G.I.
Joe.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit!
His dad,
Rich kid.
His dad had it. He was a fireman, but he like suspended it in the attic, and he could like drop it down with like ropes.
Oh, wow.
But
How
at the
cool
time,
is that?
at the time, I thought it was for the kid, but now looking back,
It was for Dad.
it was for dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That
that
was
was one of the
Dad's
most
toy.
sought after G.I. Joe toys ever.
well, holy cow,
he
man.
didn't get to touch it. He's like, yeah, you can look at it, son.
Right.
I mean, you'd have to sell a kidney to get one now.
Oh hell yeah! I had
Oh, yeah.
I had a friend that was Jehovah's Witness.
Why don't they do
Hold up.
Transformers Lego?
They do.
Yeah,
They
you got
do.
Prime right out there.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's right. But do they have sets where you build a car and it transforms?
Other than Optimus, no.
That was the first.
That's
Well, I think that started as a Lego Ideas.
But
so
that
it was
one-
a fan based thing that people were like, "You need to do this," and then Lego said, "Fuck yeah, we need to do this."
that fits
did
with
that.
them so perfectly, though.
Yeah,
Like, that's so perfect.
Well, I used to, because when I couldn't afford the Transformers, I used to make them out of Legos. You know what I mean? As a kid, you would not believe
You made them out of Lego.
Yes.
Yes, dude, Legos were
Legos
the
could
shit,
be
man.
anything.
you
No, I
you
get
can
that,
literally
but
make
how-
anything
How fucking good of a builder are
except
you?
a fleshlight.
Pretty.
You could
To build a
you
robot?
build a robot that turned into a
There's
car.
the meme.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. I mean, you
you did
you
not.
had to move. Yes, I did. You
gotta
had
take
to,
it
you had to
apart.
actually take them apart yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't have all of the cool
I was
joints.
gonna
and
say
shit.
you're a fucking
The hard
Genius.
part is timing the with the motion.
yo. When I was a kid, like I was really young, so I didn't know how to transform the action figures. So I'd
We've
take
had this convo.
I would take it to my mom. She would turn it, and the whole time I would hop around her and make the, make the noises and
I
shit.
do that every time I transform mine.
Same.
You have to.
That was my ringtone for 5 years.
Yeah, that
can-
was my
they
text
cannot.
message.
They cannot transform silently. Fuck that.
No, it all
you
gotta-
have to make the noises.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
required.
Yeah,
It is.
It is.
It really is.
Yes.
I mean,
That's why GoBot sucked.
you lose
Exactly.
the experience.
Did
without
they not have a sound
They
effect?
did, but it was not.
it was
the same.
so
like?
cheesy.
What if a lightsaber erected without the sound?
Oh,
Oh
man,
my
yeah.
god!
be the
Erected.
Schwartz.
He said erected.
Double entendre implied.
Even the Schwartz hummed.
Yeah.
I see
see
your
your
Schwartz is as big as mine. Let's see how well you handle it.
I am your brother's, mother's, uncle's, cousin's roommate.
What does that make us? Nothing.
But props to Unicron. That was wow.
That's
How
a
did
good
that
pick.
one- yeah, I can't
That's a
believe.
good fucking
Well,
pick.
I mean, I've always loved Transformers. I mean, I got the Autobots on my arm. Don't get me wrong. I like a lot of the Decepticons. Megatron is up there.
Iconic.
Perceptor, Soundwave.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
So check this out. When I played basketball religiously in high school, I had sweatbands, like wristbands.
Yeah.
One was the Autobot symbol. One was the Thundercat symbol. They
I
were
got the Eye of Thundera on me too.
black and red, and I wore those every fucking game I played.
Shout out to
It was
Mama.
that was my luck.
Bruh.
That was my luck, and nobody fucking knew what the fuck that shit was. I got that constantly. I'd lay it up on a motherfucker, and they'd be like, "Yo, what the fuck's on your wrist?"
Well,
You know what I
probably
mean?
because Thundercats was off the air by the time you were in high school,
Oh yeah, fuck.
and
yeah.
they hadn't even thought about doing that.
By the time I was
Shit
in
that they
high
pulled
school,
on.
no, by the time I was fucking 10, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that young.
I was going to say, what, you're 32, 34, somewhere right in there?
I appreciate that. Really?
You're not over 40, are
You're
you?
such a fucking sweet
Are
talker.
you hitting on him?
Good God, no.
Yeah, you trying to get my panties off.
Shit, no. If I was going to do that, I'd just feed
He
you more
said
beer.
I would have thought you were 50 pounds lighter.
No, I'll just feed you more alcohol.
I'm 38.
Oh, you're 30. Oh,
Damn.
I didn't realize you were that close to 40.
Still a baby.
Yeah.
No, I'm 39. I don't even know how old I am.
I mean,
I'm vintage.
I'm 39. Yeah,
I'm classified as a classic.
I know. Yeah, like
How
you're
are you?
Jesus.
42.
You're a baby too?
What you've got? See, I was born 81, so
You want to talk that shit just because I'm like, damn. He's like, you're a baby too. He's gonna try to gaslight us and flip it around like he ain't old as fuck.
I was gonna say, aren't you old
You
now, Bill?
keep dropping the word, but you only use it accurately 50% of the time.
Me?
Yeah.
What word?
Gaslighting.
I was gonna say, do you
What do
know
you
the
mean?
true definition of gaslighting?
Yeah, when you convince somebody that they're crazy, or that when they're doing something fucked up, and they convince
They
you
flip
that they're.
it.
Yeah, I only. What are you saying?
I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you.
No, yeah. I want you to tell me what you're saying.
I'm saying this is your problem, not my problem. You got to figure this shit out.
You
on
really
your
got to figure
fucking
your
self.
shit out. I'm fine.
Get your shit together, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm fine. You're the one who's fucked up.
I mean, I know I'm fucked up. I was just born this way.
I'm not talking about you. You got a guilty conscience.
There's
do.
Sean laughing
It's just
out of the room. Oh, that was infectious.
oh, this one went off the rails. I'm having a good time though, dudes.
Well, we always go off the rails. It's kind of what we do.
Yeah,
Where we at on time?
I did, and it's we're at 1:35.
All right, we got time.
All right, so
Shots.
Shots.
Shot. Is that a kiss? Shot glass?
Oh, yeah, his is.
No, Sean's. Oh, it says hail. Now you know where you're going now.
the Virgin Islands.
Your mom would be
right.
It's actually Cozumel or something.
if
like
your
that.
mom watched
the Bahamas.
take
See,
a
I'm the bus
shot out of
driver.
a glass.
I'll take us
that-
all there.
If your mom watched you take a shot out of a glass that said hell on it, oh my god,
I have four
We-
children out of wedlock.
Beth
We'll
and
be
I
all right.
got that. On our,
we'll be all right.
Beth and I got
got
that on
two,
our
so-
honeymoon. That's from our honeymoon in I think it was
In hell,
the Cayman Islands, or it was the Bahamas.
this shit smells good as fuck.
I mean, don't you realize we do live in hell? We're
What
in
is it?
Wyoming.
Wildberry, Ciroc.
hell yeah.
If you watch Supernatural, you
Whereas
see
hell,
they come
hell
up
is
here
a
to.
state of
Smells
mind.
fucking good as
So
Yeah.
We're having two conversations.
in Lucifer, they had people escaping from hell, and they made the joke: the doors are open all the time. They can leave whenever they want.
That's true.
From hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So-
those
so
So
doors
hell
are
is
right
a
here.
state of mind.
I like that.
Speaking-
I think that's what it would be anyway. I think the worst hell I have ever been through is like fighting myself.
Amen.
That's-
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's some of the most confusing shit ever because you have no answers on like how to fix it. Like you really just got to like dig deep. It's one of those fucked up moments in life where you gotta like nobody can tell you how to fix it. You gotta like fix it on your own and figure it out. And like some people do,
Some people don't.
some people don't. That's where you get like drug addicts and shit like that.
Well, yo, since we were talking about hell and you brought up the Vindicator from Spawn,
Oh, yes.
Violator.
Violator, my bad. The Vindicator was a different character though, but he was still in Spawn. He was another demon.
Vindicator, I think, was another comic line completely, wasn't he? Another.
I thought he was one of the demons. I think he's another
He
one of
might
the
have been.
demons.
He probably would
Yeah.
be.
Anyway,
It sounds like a name.
yeah, but I remember there was one after Spawn went back to hell. You know what I mean?
Right.
They were talking about the different levels, and I didn't know this came from Dante's Inferno either. But you know,
I want to keep smelling this damn shit.
they talk about the 9 levels of hell and shit like that, and the 9th level was actually heaven.
Dante's Inferno.
I didn't
If you
know
haven't
that.
read it, read it.
Where you said that was Hellboy, or was that?
No,
Not
this
just-
was in Spawn.
This is
Spawn.
in Spawn.
But they said the thought like I read the foreword, you know, after the end that it actually came because I'd never read Dante's Inferno. I saw the movie once, but I never read the book.
the
The
anime
movie was okay.
No, the like the Shakespearean book.
Oh right. Well, it's
real
not a
one.
book. It's
Yeah.
a poem. The original
The original.
Dante's Inferno.
Bada
was
bing, bada boom.
That is right there.
It's an epic
Yes.
poem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
by
if you haven't
Dante.
read it, you should.
It's
We
literally
had to talk about it in school. I don't think I read the whole
it's
thing. though.
literally one of the greatest stories. Because here, let me break
I've
it.
never
down.
even
Oh,
cracked it open.
I know
Let
it's
me
about.
just give a little synopsis. So, Dante, he goes off to war.
I know what it's about. Oh, but
I'm not talking to you. If you
He's
don't-
talking to the other guy.
I'm talking to our audience.
oh, go ahead. My bad.
So if you haven't read Dante's Inferno, it starts out Dante, he goes off to war. His wife
Word.
is so dedicated and trusts him so much that she makes a deal with the devil to bring him back home safe. And he says, why would you do that when he's not going to even be faithful to you? She says, I believe he will be. They're at war. I think the devil like does some things to fuck with Dante, and like he ends up fucking some chick. While,
Yeah, he's the devil.
because we're all gonna fucking die. Like I might as well. Like you know what I mean? So that was the deal. He stays faithful. I'll bring him home. He's gonna come home safe no matter what. But if he comes home unfaithful, then you are my queen in hell for all eternity. Dante comes home, finds her gone, he sews that cross into his chest, his whole torso, as like penance for what he's done, and then he goes on a quest through hell, every level, all 9 levels.
Was it 9 or was it 7? I can't remember.
I think it's 7.
I think it's 7.
I think it's 9.
Shit, I can't remember.
7.
I mean,
It's
7 deadly sins,
well,
7
here's
levels.
but the 9th gate. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
there's
But
9.
But 9 is another.
There's
one of those,
not-
like holy numbers or
That's true.
prime.
Right. Well, that's how many levels to hell there are, and then I think. Well, if you've played the video game, and that's actually a fucking. It's like a God of War clone, but it really plays out that story and expands upon it. So, like, the first place he goes, the first level is gluttony,
Right.
and he fights his own father. You know what I mean? And it's one of the fucking greatest fucking stories ever written, I think, personally.
It's one of those books that I read in jail. I'm not going to lie. It's one of the first times I had time to sit down and read
It's
it.
amazing.
As you saw by how thick that book is.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's a lot longer than I remember.
Yeah, I didn't remember it.
Pause.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Word to Cam. But again, I thought it was just it was like the whole thought process was hilarious to me that the 9th level of hell was heaven. You know what I mean? That was my whole point.
I like that. Because like I feel like as humans there would be no eternal like ecstasy. I think that would be the ultimate irony.
Right? Yeah.
You know what that's probably what they were thinking when they wrote that. It's like we all think the heaven's this great place, but then when you get to the point, I think it's in 300, Spawn, he encounters God and Satan, and they're fighting, and eventually, like he's talking to them, talking them down, and like, why are we fighting this war? But like he slowly starts to realize that they're always just gonna fight each other, like no matter what.
I got a contradiction.
Like he makes an amazing point of why they shouldn't, and they're like thinking about it.
I remember that book.
And then
I had
they're
a hard time
and
with
then-
that one as a Christian.
but-
Okay, so
but no, listen. He makes this amazing like speech, and like it seems like it's gonna like turn them, and they're gonna change their ways, and then they go.
That book.
They both go, "You're right. This fight is really dumb." And then they turn to each other and go, "This is your fault. No, this is your fault." And then they just like start fighting again, and then at that point, Spawn has godlike power where he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna recreate a new Earth and let them like fight over the ashes of the old one.
Interesting.
It's fucking great, dude.
That's to me. That was a human's thought process of what's really going on.
It's a story. It's fiction. It's fiction.
I had a hard time. Spawn's been a hard one for me my entire life as far as reading.
I
it.
imagine it. Has.
You know what I mean? For one, the fact that when Spawn first came out, it beat out fucking the Death of Superman for the highest selling.
I remember that, yeah.
And this was after, you know what I mean?
The death of Superman was a reaction to Image.
Yeah.
Like that happened like a year later.
It was about a year.
Well, it was what, a year and a half after they dropped Spawn #1 that we got the movie?
Yeah.
Really?
It was pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Was
yeah,
it really?
Yeah. The movie came out in 95.
Yeah.
It was a very quick turnaround for that.
And
Look
that
that-
movie was
Look that up.
so
I just
well
wanna-
done.
I believe you. I just want to know what
I
the
got you.
numbers is.
I know it was. It wasn't long after it started. I want to say
97. So 2 years.
Okay, but still, that's not a long time.
Hell no.
Yeah.
When you think about all the other comic book movies that came out, like there had been decades of history.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah.
to come out with some, and honestly, it was pretty
It's
accurate.
a fucking great
and
movie.
the cast that they had. Oh my God, Michael Jai White as Spawn himself. Oh my God.
Michael Jai White
Or
is
yeah.
a fucking legit martial artist.
Yeah.
That guy is like
He's a beast.
I
He's
don't.
been that big since he was
you
15.
can talk.
Yeah.
You can talk about like who's a actor and who's a martial, but that guy
He'll whip you.
is
Yeah.
100% legit.
I like
is
to
he?
think if I say I can win.
Oh, yeah.
here and
What
there.
is he?
Legit.
He's legit.
He is obsessed with.
I
that
would
fucking-
definitely not pick a fight with him.
Oh, hell, like I said, and he's
he would
He's
fuck
been
you
that
up.
size since he was 15 in. There's a scene in Ninja Turtles 2 where
Yes.
he's one of
Where
the.
he's
I
jacked.
remember that. Yeah, I didn't remember. It took me till I was an adult to realize who that was.
I didn't even know that. By the way,
fucking team.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know that until last week when you said
When
it.
I did,
on.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, huge. At 15, he looked like a grown ass man at 15.
and he's that
No,
fast.
he's a legit athlete and a martial artist,
Yeah.
like to the nth degree. Like as a striker,
He's Bruce Lee level in
there's
my eyes.
there is video of him showing Kimbo. I'm sure you've seen it, Kimbo Slice,
oh
where
yeah.
he's talking when they did that prison movie. Whatever,
Yeah.
what movie was
I
that?
forgot what it's called. I own it,
But,
but yeah.
he's showing Kimbo that like about telegraphing, like
Oh
so-
yeah. I've seen the reel on the behind the scenes.
and they
stuff.
talk about this a lot in fighting, where you're like you loading up, like you can see the guy getting ready to do something.
Yeah.
He's somebody who does. He was like, you're better off being relaxed and throwing the punch. Just like throw it. And he's like, he puts his hand up and he's like, just like throw a punch and like try to hit my hand, and he's like moving it because he can see you're about to throw before you throw it, and he moves it out of the way. Now, let me be relaxed and let me just like throw it, just like bow, and he hits his hand like every fucking time.
Oh yeah.
And Kimbo's like, what the fuck? By the way,
R.I.P. Kimbo.
yes, definitely. By the way, Kimbo was born in the wrong fucking time because he would have been the king of the heavyweight division in bare knuckle boxing. Like
He was the street, like he was the epitome
That-
of
that
street
was his-
fighter, though.
the,
He didn't have any like training,
Right.
You know what I mean?
well, he did. He had boxing training.
Some, but
Not
yeah.
until he was older.
Yeah, he
no,
was an
but
adult.
Yeah.
he styled himself after Mike Tyson.
And yes, he did.
And Mike Tyson has the 30-second knockout record, just in one solid, and it was done. But if you could take the key to beating Mike Tyson is to dodge that initial attack and run
Wear him
circles
out, yeah.
because once he gets tired,
The key to beating Mike Tyson is letting him wear himself down with drugs and women. And then
Well,
you
that's
beat
with
him.
anybody.
It's the same thing with Batman. It's the same thing. No, that's what happened. The only reason that Mike ever lost was because Cuss died and he lost his fucking shit.
Well, there was
And
a
that's
lot of
what-
things that
no,
came into it.
But
Yeah.
all the things that happened were 100% because he lost his father figure.
well, yeah,
There was other things too. I am somewhat of a Mike Tyson historian.
Me too.
So you know, what I mean, his rape charges and having to go to prison. There was a lot of things. We could
I
do
think-
a whole episode
I
on Mike
think-
Tyson.
we could do like
I
3
think-
episodes on
I
Mike.
think a lot of that stemmed from
podcast.
Cuss's death. I think a lot of that, him losing his shit and losing focus, was because Cuss died. Like, you know what I mean?
Possibly. There's things that happen when you become an adult too. that
But
change
also,
things.
Mike was the biggest heavy champion since Ali.
yeah.
Yeah.
At one point, he was making more money than Jordan.
And this was shit that hadn't happened before.
Yeah, this
Like,
was pre-biting Evander's ear
It's
off.
like
way before
it's
that.
like Michael Jordan.
Crunch.
It's like Michael Jordan, and then we're all watching basketball, but we never fucking forgot.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking deal. I went off on the whole thing.
Real quick, I will for the rest of my life. I will remember when he knocked fucking Michael Spinks out in like 27
Oh
seconds.
yes.
Oh God, yes.
My uncle paid like
have you-
$120 for that fight, and he was out. It was a family reunion. We
So
were all
many
at my
people
uncle's
did.
house.
So fucking,
Big fucking TV.
That's
you know
my
what I mean?
shit, dude.
Like everybody in Vegas was pissed. Like they lost so much money. You know what I
that
mean?
was the thing about watching Mike back in the day. It was like you pay $60 for a pay per
That's
view.
what made the story.
Oh yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what made
yeah.
it.
Nobody
That-
thought he was
that-
going to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Everybody knew they knew he was going to win,
Yeah.
but you
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
expecting.
But you're
30,
not,
27 seconds
But
into
you're
the
paying
first round.
you're paying $60, and he knocks him out in the first round, and you're like, what the fuck?
And now imagine the people that were spending like $25,000 for seats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
God,
what?
they were
At the
so
MGM.
buttered.
You know what doesn't make
Especially if they missed the first opening act.
Well, as a fight fan, I'm the guy that watches the prelims. I watch
Right.
every fight.
Yeah.
So I never really understood that, to where I'm like, yeah, the fight, the main event lasted however long, but like
27
you had
seconds.
a fucking 2 hours of incredible fights before that. Like,
That's true, but
what the fuck's your problem?
because
Yeah,
you,
but
you
yeah,
paid money to
something-
see the main
yeah,
event.
yeah, everybody.
That's me as a fight fan. Like,
Well, yeah.
you know
I mean,
what
I enjoyed the rest of the card, but I'm going to this fight to see this particular
that's
fight. And
that's still the way
to
it
see a
works.
30-second fight, it's like, well,
people
where's
are
the
mad.
fun in that?
You think about it in a business sense. So, like, if you're putting a card together, you have a bunch of stars, but you really only want to pay out one guy because that gets really expensive, right? So you put one really big champion on the card, and you really only got to pay him. Like,
Well, the big mounts, but yeah.
well, you're
everybody's gotta
right.
get
That's
paid.
what I mean. Like, the amount you're paying out. So,
But that's what I'm saying. During his heyday,
Yeah.
we think about Jordan's one of the pinnacles of sports icons as
he
far
is.
as money.
I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
anybody ever tops him.
Well, not now. Like his shoe
We
lines
talk,
alone.
We talk
Yeah.
about LeBron and shit, but it's not.
LeBron's pretty close
He's up there.
because with movies, I'm talking about money. We're not even talking
money.
about.
We're
skills.
talking money.
Okay.
We're talking money.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I don't like LeBron. I really don't.
Yeah, it's not
a
about
LeBron.
that.
We're
It's-
not. Yeah, we're not
It's
talking.
the
Okay,
same
good.
thing with John Jones. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you love him or hate him, but like he's still the fucking greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Like, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but at his heyday, imagine that's just saying how big Mike was. That Mike Tyson was making more money than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
that's fucking unbelievable.
You know what's
Where we at? Sorry, Bill. Now that we got off topic,
Sports.
we got to run it down.
We're like at almost 2 hours.
All right,
Oh, shit.
Yo, did you get your last one in? My bad.
No,
get one more.
no.
Oh
No or no?
no.
Oh, okay.
no.
I thought he said no at first.
I
No.
was like, no. What the fuck?
You know, Aaron.
We
just
doing a
gave-
show, motherfucker.
Aaron just gave us this awesome piece of.
Oh yeah,
Emoko
thank
art.
you. By
You're
the way, he gave us 2 fucking seriously amazing prints.
That's got to go on the wall.
Yeah.
Here.
It will.
That's why I brought him over, because I was looking around last week and I was like, I got a couple of prints that would go good up here with these.
All right, so no, run it down, Bill.
So it's the ultimate evil symbiote. So there was a planet of symbiotes, a giant spear of all these massive black things that were keeping. Oh, fuck you, motherfucker!
I'm sorry, I
black things.
cannot fucking rein it in, dude.
No, he looked right at me. I was gonna let that go, yo.
I said,
I heard the dramatic pause.
all right, go. All right,
My
go.
bad, Bill. That's Mike's fault, by the way.
That's all Mike's fault.
A whole planet of black things. Goddamn.
Evil.
Evil black things. Calm your nerves. Even the dog left after that one, yo.
Oh my god.
The
All right, go.
planet is a prison to keep this evil, like God, Antichrist, God of the symbiotes in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what King in Black was about. Venom evolving beyond just the anti-hero into the hero to attack this evil thing of Null.
Mm-hmm.
Which I like Null because as far as the mathematics, that means like a set that does not exist.
Yes, a null set.
A null set.
Oh, that's fucking
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So like that of being the evil of evil. You know, symbiotes being this like
He's
almost
beyond. He's
like
beyond evil.
but like a symbiote is like almost like a fucking parasitic infection, like not the opposite of a exorcism. You know, the infestation of a demon spirit, and that of the evil of that being the null.
Oh, that's fucking.
And
dude.
null's been around like pretty much since like
I love that level of
Meta.
right where you're like, oh, there's like layers here. Like they really
Just in the name.
That's what I was talking about with the Holocaust thing.
I never
It's
thought
like,
about that till you said it. You know what I mean?
I didn't either.
That's really what I was kind of talking about with the Holocaust thing, is that they went that extra mile and really thought about that name before they gave it to him. It didn't just sound badass. It
represented
something absolutely.
I'm kind of mad I never made that connection either. That's fucking brilliant.
That's fucking. I never did either.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
That's a fucking great villain.
Before we close
But
that
it's
out,
like the anti-hero becoming the hero, tackling on this bigger feature, this bigger villain, and that's why Null kind of takes it.
He's
for
almost like the
again another modern.
Is he like the
anti-hero?
Is he like the pinnacle for you?
A villain. What
Is
pinnacle
that
of
like
villainy?
like villainy and evil?
well, he's the creator of that entire race.
Right. Well, like he's like the start. He was there before.
As far as fiction, I mean, there's a lot of it, and as far as Venom and as far as spider symbiotism, yes.
I mean, like
And as far as what I'd like to see as far as a villain in MCU, fuck yes.
Well, they're gonna fuck it up, dude.
Probably, but fuck yes. Just fuck it up good. Just fuck it good.
Fuck it
if you're
real
gonna
good.
fuck it,
That's
fuck
what
it
she
good.
said.
Yo, before staying on to with Null, I always wondered how come we never saw, like, from the Secret Wars, the very first time that Spider-Man got the Venom symbiote, you know what I mean? Before we realized that it was taken, trying to.
Before it was just a suit.
Yeah.
Why we didn't see that before that?
No. Why we, like, at least I don't, and I'm asking you guys, have you ever, because there's only one other time I've seen it happen, and I wonder if you know when it is, but there's only one other time where I've seen a Marvel story where they act, like, I don't remember them showing the planet where Spidey got the suit from the original Secret
Oh, it
Wars.
was Battle World. It wasn't like that was a planet that got
No,
That's not where it came from,
Are
though.
you talking about when he hops the space shuttle and
that was
goes
in the
to the-
first Secret War.
It was in the first Secret Wars,
Yeah.
but that's not where the
wasn't
symbiote
that
came
like
from.
wasn't that
oh no,
Oh, I got you.
The actual planet.
I
where
got
they
what
came,
you
yeah, I know what you're saying with Battle Realm. That's
You're saying like where did the suit
yeah, they've shown the planet.
how
once.
did it get there? Because Battle World was always a
Battle Realm. I think it's Realm.
world.
I just know that's where they fight. Yeah.
Well, either way, I think that was always like an amalgamation of like worlds throughout whatever universe it.
Well, it was outside space and time. That was why, like, whatever
But
was happening.
it's like
there,
an amalgam, like it's a mashup of
right?
like a bunch of different worlds. So that lab that he stumbled into and
Right.
found the suit, that probably came from somewhere else, and that was just like a puzzle piece.
But my question is: have any of you guys ever seen any other Marvel character go to the actual planet, like where Null was being held before there was even a Null? So before they made
I've
up
seen
the story.
flashbacks
Right.
of it.
Have you?
Silver Surfer.
Okay, so you have.
So there was, but again, it's all Donny Cates.
Okay,
So this is Donny
This is
Cates
his fucking
building up his
man
own.
crush.
Oh yes,
I
it
have a
is.
point to this.
Yes. So Donny Cates had the Cosmic Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very surreal comic, but he kind of introduced the idea of Null.
What's up with the black arm?
That was just that one photo, the Peach Momoko.
So that was just like a aesthetic thing, or that didn't have anything to do with.
that black. So what Mike's referring to is the Peach Momoko cover that Arron just gave us. That pictured Silver Surfer with a black arm. Silver Circle with a black arm. But the black arm had more than just black. It had these translucent, like it was like
rainbow
aurora borealis.
Look at him go!
Like across like your neurons, across your vein, not just like the across every like vein of your body.
Okay.
And so it kind of fluctuated with the Silver Surfer and this kind of black and the silver throughout the comic.
Oh, how cool is that?
So, but in that particular image, you saw it on its arm.
Okay.
All right. Now, the reason I brought this up, and you probably be the only one in the room that would know this. They never said what planet it was on, but there was a Transformers comic. So the original Transformers comic, which was made by Marvel, where the Autobots and Decepticons ended up fighting on this planet. I don't remember what they were chasing after or how they ended up there.
I think they were chasing Energon.
Yeah, but that's normally
Of
what
course
they were looking for. It. Yeah, but they never named the planet. But when they landed there, they ended up fighting each other. Well, when you think about what the symbiote does, depending on the host, like what it looked like on Spider-Man versus what it looked like on Eddie Brock,
right?
So they're on this planet, and it affects all sentient life. So it was
so a symbiote could attach itself to an Autobot,
and a Decepticon because they're alive. They're robots, but they're alive.
Yeah, they're organic.
Yeah, and it was so crazy because this was after, you know what I mean? This happened way after Secret Wars, and I think Venom was already a thing too. So this was early 90s, you know what I mean? And like they were all fighting, the Autobots were fighting each other, Decepticon, and then Megatron and Optimus were like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like halfway through, when there's like everybody is fighting everybody.
Both were like, "What the fuck?"
And I think like Blaster and Soundwave, because you know they're the tape decks, ended up using sound. You know what I mean?
And figured it out.
But it was so crazy because you know, size wise, a symbiote can only grow so far. You know what I mean? So it couldn't completely.
Which is pretty far though.
Yeah, but they couldn't cover up an entire fucking Autobot or Decepticon.
Not like Unicron.
Yeah, not even the Autobots and Decepticons. So it could get on the inside.
Really?
Yeah, it couldn't completely cover them.
Yeah.
So that's what, you know, when you're reading it, you didn't understand what was happening until after, you know, Soundwave used his blast, and then you see this black ooze thing coming out. I was like, oh shit, they're on the, you know what I mean?
How cool is that?
Yeah, but that was the only time I've ever seen them
is that what you guys are saying? Like the Transformers are part of the Marvel universe?
They are in the comic books.
They are Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel did a
But
4-issue series in 1984 with
How cool would that be if they just like integrated that into the Marvel?
That won't happen.
I'm just saying how cool
it would be. Dope. But Hasbro, like, you know what I'm saying? Hasbro,
Disney assimilates them all,
which might happen eventually. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be a fucking cool movie. I'd watch it.
Resistance is futile,
but
they're on the list too.
But yeah, that was
I
mad
would
dope.
join them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was a big deal for me because that was the only time, and you know I
never thought about that
I love
just
Marvel
now.
above all else, but that was the only time I have ever seen the actual world. You know what I mean? Prior to
I saw it once in I want to say it was '96 on the cartoon shows that they had on WB. They hitchhiked on the shuttlecraft that took Spidey to that alternate world where there was the Ram Guard and they had different animals, the High Evolutionary. Carnage and Venom were working together to try to.
This was on the cartoon, or
yeah, it was on. I want to say WB.
That was an.
It was on Fox.
Yeah,
it was on
or
Fox.
Yeah, it was Fox.
I know that because the only channel I could get like 3 channels on my rabbit ears back then, and I would watch Spider-Man when I got home.
So which Spider-Man was that? That wasn't Spider-Man, and it's like with Firestar and Iron Man.
No, that was
no,
the 60s. This was
70s, man. I'm not that old.
Yeah, but that particular cartoon, I think, actually ran in the 60s.
It was 80s.
Was it 80s?
Yeah, it was 80s.
'Cause I remember watching the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But no, it was like I said, it was 96. I want to say it was Spider-Man Unlimited or
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I was in Japan for that.
because he actually flies to a different planet because their Earth is dying and they're trying to find a new home. And this one is like Earth 2.0.
Bathroom.
Bathroom break.
He got to pay.
You gotta pay.
He had 42 Dr. Peppers while we were around.
Right.
Hey, while we're waiting for Bill to get back, we're gonna wrap this fucker up here in a minute. I want to say I appreciate you both for doing the show, especially you, Aaron. Man,
Hey,
you've been like our biggest fan.
Hey, I just like.
Forever, you're the shit, bro.
Well, thank you. I just like sitting around and talking nerdy
No,
shit.
you really add something to this shit. So
Hell yeah.
we appreciate you. Appreciate you, Sean.
Of course.
And we're just waiting for Bill to wrap this fucker up. I think this has been a good ass episode. Though.
Yeah, we
it
went
has.
a little long, but it was, we had fun with it.
We do it.
Oh, yeah.
From time to time.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But I definitely love talking nerdy shit. It's fun. I do it at work. People look at me.
Oh yeah,
What are you talking about? I'm like,
bro,
let's go with it.
we love having you on here. Like, if we didn't think you had something to offer,
I probably wouldn't have been back as often as I had.
oh, for sure. Like you really and fuck, like I wouldn't even mind having you on every episode.
If I could find babysitters to watch my kids every week, I would. That's why I try to do every other week.
Well, I'm just saying we really appreciate you, buddy.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love being on the show. It's always entertaining.
Hell yeah. Where the fuck is Bill at? We got to wrap this son of a bitch up.
He's peeing.
I'm going to pee on his face here in a minute. I got to pee too.
You do know we can wrap this up without the music. You know what I'm saying?
We could. We could.
That went sideways real quick.
Real quick.
Hey, man.
0 to 100, man.
You want to...
That's the segment 17 section, people.
Right?
Yeah, you got to pay for that.
Yeah.
You got to pay for that. You want to see me pee on Bill's face? That's $50. We got to get
PayPal.
paid too. God damn it, Bill.
He accepts
Get
PayPal.
your shit together, man. We got to get this fucking thing going. Hit the fucking music,
You ever
motherfucker.
remember Revenge of the Nerds when Ogre's like pissing at the urinal?
Yes.
And he just keeps pissing and pissing and pissing and pissing
Like Austin Powers.
and just keeps going for like the whole fucking scene.
Like Austin Powers.
Yeah,
I think that's probably where you got it from.
Hell yeah.
that's me.
No, I think it came from A League of Their Own when he was peeing in the bathroom that morning. And
Shit, I forgot
Oh,
about
yeah. Fucking
Yeah.
Jesus. Listen to this guy.
that. Taking them back.
Throwback.
I'm old.
Go to
I'm sorry.
thecomiczone.com. That's where we got all our episodes.
COMIX.
And if you go there and you don't want to
Just like
fucking...
the video game.
That's right.
if you go to the Comic Zone, you don't want to listen to it on there, we got links to all the fucking spots
All the shit, baby.
that you can get our podcast. Just fucking, listen.
Just
Get off the... God damn it, Bill.
click the button, baby.
Turn it off.
Just lick it.
You know you like the button.
God damn it with that.
Lick it.
Peace out, motherfuckers.
And stay black as fuck.
Stay nerdy, motherfuckers.